All the questions are going to come from the floor, and then we'll have Rassi and Sia at the end just sum up in Afrikaans and Xhosa. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Just what they thought about the game and obviously going forward in the competition. Please note it's a 10-minute media conference. So I am recording it and I'll send out the recording shortly. Thanks, guys. Questions?
We've been on the other side where we've got 57 away from home. So, there's no need for us to celebrate too much. Of course, the respect we have for them, they've given us shots many times. So, we're just glad we got 5 points and we're in the mix in the rugby championship. Obviously, people are going to talk about the record. Last week, they kept the record at Eden Park and they didn't put it into our faces. So, the scoreline is nice and for the guys to hang in there is nice. It's more for us what we're trying to achieve. So, I know what it feels like in that change room on the other side. So, yeah, it's nice, but I don't think we have to dwell on that.
Rassi, congratulations on the win. There's a lot of talk this week about your backline, potential of it being having a new generation feel about it. You obviously empowered and entrusted them with a lot with the response from last week. Can you just talk to what the performance you saw from those young backs and how much did they stake their claim to be part of the future of Springboks rugby?
Yeah, I think firstly I must say, we always try to say this, a couple of realities. It's opposition reality, our reality, and what the world's reality is, and then there's the truth. And the truth were, they had 8 players with less than 10 caps, and we only had 2 with less than 10 caps. So, we always saw it that way. It's that we've been building and giving guys chances at certain stages. And we're very happy with the performances they had, but the way the guys who didn't play this week prepared them for this game, because they played last week against the All Black team who, at one stage, they were really giving us shots. So we're happy to say that, we've used 40, I don't know how many players. But yes, guys put up their hands and they showed that they can do it at this stage. So it's nice to know that we had a lot of injuries today in this match. I'm not quite sure what the extent of those injuries are, but it's more that the trust from the older guys who did not play to prepare the younger guys. It's very nice. But New Zealand played also with 8 guys, less than 10 caps. So that was our reality going into this game.
The Boks and yourself got a fair amount of play the last couple of weeks. Did this team go out tonight?
No, not at all. We wanted to get, first of all, it always works like that. The belief in the team is the most important thing. And when you chop and change, and which we have done the whole year, I don't know. I think we're in the mix of 1 or 2 in the world again. So, it's a long season, and we've got our Argentinian team that really played well and are young and exuberant, and which we'll face in a couple of weeks' time. But no, we never do it to prove people wrong. We do it to people keep on believing in us, because we believe in South African. And I'm not saying to be soppy and all wishy-washy. We feel what South Africans do for us, and we reminded ourselves, even after the ACA, we had a quick chat about that. That there's hundreds of millions of people back home who trust in us to give our best, and we gave our best, I thought, today. And so no, we never want to prove people wrong. We want them to keep on believing in us.
Take the score line like this. 36 in particular in the second half is pretty impressive against any of those.
No, well, we were just focused on the job in hand, and I think where our coaches, I feel, is so good. All our coaching staff is the freedom that they gave us today, the freedom that they gave to the backs. Like, shoot your shots and don't be afraid if you make a mistake. But there was a couple of times where the ball went out or it was a knock-on where we had like an overlap. Nobody panicked and we just stuck to our guns. That gives us the kind of freedom, because this was a big game, whether we like it or not. And coach was willing to back the guys that haven't played a lot. And that was, he showed us the belief, and then he just told us we mustn't just keep on believing in each other as a team. And I think that was really important. Like what he said, the guys that didn't play, the pictures they showed us, you become the opposition, in the week. And I think that was really special. And that's what keeps us so tight as a team, is all those guys that don't play, the effort that they put in, and it helped us a lot today.
Congratulations on the results. Just talk us through the character, the courage shown on the team with 4 first-half substitutions.
Yeah, we always say, like, it doesn't matter who plays in the team. We don't panic. And if someone gets hurt, like for me, I was finished by that time, and most people were like, "Oh, why are you taking him? Can't go anymore." But I'm not worried when I go off, because I know when Kwaka comes in, he brings something different to what I have. So that's the trust and the belief amongst each other as a group, because the efforts we put in the weekend training sessions, every guy that's chosen, we all have belief in each other, because we've seen what we can do in training, and our trainings are intense. And this week was different. So yeah, that's where we get it from training.
I see. We spoke to them. They're also dedicated to days when 2 days of the night to for training. Just talk us through how the team processed his passing, and he's someone very, very, very well.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's many players that I played with, Houston Vestes and James Small, Ruben Creer, Hannes Strydom, we can Chester, we can mention so many. But then in a week like this, I'm not quite sure the guys would even know Bevan really well, Jan Boland really well. But for me, it was a bit emotional. I mean, we won the Currie Cup for the first time in 29 years, and Bevan was a boy we signed from SWD. So for me, it was a bit more emotional this last day. But we didn't talk about that, to be honest. We just said that bring what you come from and where you come from to the party, because that's what. So no, I personally for me it was not a nice day and a half, but I mean we did not as a team, we didn't even talk about that, because there's so many people in my era which I played with that's not here anymore, that would have loved to be part of what the guys did today. So I said afterwards, I did tell them a little bit about Devon, and I mean Jan Boland and so on. So, but I mean Cornell's gone, and there's so many. And that's what the guys are carrying, those guys' legacy.
But I see when you look back at what happened against Australia, from 22-0 down, from 22-0 up to 38-22. Today was 10-7 down at half time with 8-8 in the first half. Just talk us through this evolution that the team is going through. There's still 2 games left in what is a big tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think we spoke in the change room, we've achieved nothing. We're in the mix for the Rugby Championship, but Australia and New Zealand will sort each other out, and we have to play a really energetic, well-drilled Argentinian team in a couple of weeks' time. What's your question?
The evolution of the team.
The evolution of the team. I think we're getting better. And I think the first 30 minutes, we still made a lot of errors. But I think the belief is listen, you can do it, express yourself, don't get like a robot. We don't pick you to be just doing your job and mechanical side of the thing. You are Damien Willemse. I mean, I remember Damien Willemse, Randy and Caleb Clark in Nelson Bombela. And I sent him a video last night and said, remember this? And everybody, I mean, Ethan, everybody that played tonight, but it's the guys who's not playing that gives those guys belief. And New Zealand will go through the same. They're gonna pick themselves up and understand. Well, they do understand. I can tell them what they must understand or not. But this must. People always say must build depth, and you must build squad depth. But then some people say, you're taking chances. It's a 24-hour job, keeping confidence. Nowadays, with social media and what people say, you have to 24 hours, like tell yourself, hey, believe in yourself, believe in your teammates, believe in your coaches, and believe in when you announce a team on a Sunday evening before New Zealand, where they smashed us last week. It's a 24-hour job to keep belief and if you want to fall on your own sword, don't start pleasing people. And when you start pleasing just the people in the change room and the South African people, we got to the other side. And yes, our average age, I think, was with Kobus, who's 35. Our average age was 27 of the backline. The forwards were a bit older. But Elrich is not here, Cameron's not here, Salman's not here, Gerrit Steenekamp's not here. Even did not play. So hopefully we are building and people can see that we're building. But the next game's results is again going to determine where we are really. As I said, they gave us 57-0, so once you got all, it's nice, it's satisfying. But the reality is tomorrow they'll regroup and Argentina will look at our attack and our scrums and our lineouts, and then it's the next game again. So we're going to join tonight. We're going to flip and definitely enjoy tonight. No doubt, yeah. I will have a good time tonight. But, when we're back on the plane and land in South Africa, then it's back to reality again. Then we second on the log in the Rugby Championship. I think we're lying pretty well in World Rugby on the log. But then the next two games will determine that again. So, New Zealand didn't rub it in our faces last week when they got the Eden Park record and they kept it there. So for us, it's nice to have a winning margin like that. But reality is tomorrow, it's a new day.
Seem relatively tight. Big turning point with the Lions still on every line.
I think big turns were when we were on the try line and we scored a try and we felt maybe the ball was knocked on by them at the breakdown. That might have been a big turn where we lost belief, but we didn't lose belief there because we were 7-0 up there. And you kind of, when you don't capitalize, when you go into the 22, you go, we're again not capitalizing. And I think that was the big chat after the haka and in the change room is that let's fire shots. Eventually it's going to come. And it did come eventually. So you need a few things to go your way for the belief to get there and to click and guys to start believing in. And yeah, I think that was a big moment. You're correct.
Ask you now because but yeah, lost my you can ask.
Yeah.
Can you just sum up the game? Kan jy asseblief net vir ons sê wat jy gedink het oor die wedstryd, wat reg gegaan het en wat voor lê in die kompetisie?
Ja, die eerste ding is is lekker, dis baie lekker om New Zealand hier so te wen. Ons het nog nie baie in ons lewe gedoen nie. Wel, in my lewe nie. En die eerste ding is die belief of die geloof wat die spanne mekaar het. Dus in my opinie is dit eerst al 24 uur werk om te bly glo in jouself, want daar soveel opinies. Maar soos ek vir julle gesê het, mense wil nie Suid-Afrikaners verkeerd bewys nie. Jy wil hulle aan jou kant hê, mense wil hulle met in jou glo, en as jy foute maak, kry jy baie kritiek. So ja, die telling is lekker, maar vir ons die belangrikste is dat ons ouens geroteer het, die senior ouens gehelp het om die manne, ons nie baie jong ouens gehad, jong ouens in die span gehad nie. Nieu-Seeland het 8 ouens gehad wat minder 10 toetse gespeel het. Ek dink ons het 2 of 3 gehad, so ons het dit nooit, in ons werklikheid was dit nooit dat ons vat hierdie groot kans nie. Dis ouens wat al jare saam met ons kom. Damien Willems het al 2 World Cups gewen in British en Irish Lions series. En ek geweet ergens gaan sy dinge by mekaar kom. En toe verloor ons Fassie en ons verloor 'n klomp ouens in die game. Loor ernstig beseer, Fassie is ernstig beseer. So die groot ding is wat ons uit die game uitvat, is nie die telling nie. Is dat ons in die mix is in die Rugby Championship. En dat ons alright is in world rankings met 'n belangrike draai die einde van die jaar. En die heel belangrikste is dat Suid-Afrika kan sien ons glo in mekaar en ons kan voel dat Suid-Afrika glo in ons.
No, bekunzima kuleve kuphela and inhloko zethu zonke bezijonge like umphefumulo wethu ubehlile kancini but besiyazi siyakwazi uzijika izinto and sisebenze kakhulu and kha sifunde kakhulu into ezithethwayo phaa phandle besiconcentrate kule nto besiyenza thina siyi-team and okhotshi bethu ibhilifu abasinike yona especially kula madoda asemva ubacela uba mabadlale ngeli hlobo bafuna udlala ngalo. And if umuntu wenze iphutha asile iphutha lakhe lezo iphutha letimu yonke, I think kuyinto ebalulekileyo. Nangoku besi-atheka kakhulu kha sifumane itrayipa sabuya emva kwaskora bona kuqala umphefumulo wethu khanguhle besiyazi izinto ezizakwenzeka. So sebenze kakhulu and iteam isebenze kakhulu for thina to make sure ubeka umuntu kwindawo right. And yeah, siyenzile into besifuna uyenza but umsebenzi awukapheli. Kuninzi into efuneka siyenzile because i-Argentina iyadlala kakhulu. So namhlanje sahlala kakuhle sizinjoye kakuhle and then sigoduke ufika kweli South Africa sisebenza siqeshiwe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just your initial reaction to that, how do you assess that?
Yeah, real game of two halves. We obviously, had a decent first half, made most of a couple of opportunities, had a narrow lead in the second half. You've got to give credit to South Africa and the way they played, and obviously they had a clear mindset around coming out and playing a lot of footy, and at times we just couldn't counter it, and they were, at the end of the day, the better team won on the day. So we did have our opportunities in the second half, didn't quite ice them, but again, take nothing away from the performance of South Africa. They are far too good for us tonight.
Very rarely do we see an All Blacks team, put that sort of score, especially in the second half. Did it feel like just constantly backs against the wall?
Yeah, it was, they keep putting us under pressure. They've got a great kicking game, obviously. At times we combated it, at times we didn't, and they keep turning us around, and then it felt like our backs are up against the wall quite a bit. We still felt like we had our opportunities, but again, we didn't quite ice the opportunities we had, and they did clearly. So, it was, like I said, take nothing away from how well they played in the second half. They just were the better team.
Damien, it's the biggest ever defeat by an All Blacks team. Test Rugby, how do you bounce back from this?
Yeah, look, it's tough. It's boys are hurting, that's for sure. I guess for us, we've got a week off now, and then a couple of tough tests against, got an Aussie side that are going really well, and it's never nice when you take losses. You want to get straight back into it. So this week off, I'm sure the boys will have a good reflection of tonight, and we just got to get back on the horse. We know there's what we're capable of doing, and we just got to nail more opportunities when we get them. And tonight we had opportunities, but we just didn't quite ice them. So it's going to be a long week to reflect, but we're excited for what's to come against Aussie.
Damien, what was being said immediately after the match out on the field?
Just sleep. Leaders, it obviously hurts after any defeat, but a defeat by that many points. So I guess there wasn't a lot said, but for us it's just about keeping our head high. We're obviously celebrating a great man in Leroy Carter on his debut as well, so we can't take that away from a great man of Leroy and how well he played tonight. So yeah, it's disappointing, but we've also got to celebrate those little milestones too.
There will be a lot of scrutiny, talk, comment from the New Zealand public about their performance over the next 2 weeks. Are you guys ready for that?
Yeah, I guess for us, it's about just keep believing in ourselves, and we know we can do that. And we've got a tight circle. We've got to have a good look at ourselves and our performance, as you always do after any game, win or lose. So we'll do that. We'll keep tight and move forward. And we know we've got a couple of big test matches coming up against Aussie. So we'll stick tight together as a group.
What was different about their backline this week, Damien? They obviously had a lot of new faces and a lot of youth and enthusiasm, but they executed pretty well, especially in that second half, right?
Yeah, they did. Obviously, it was pretty clear and obvious right from the get-go they wanted to move the ball, and they shifted the ball really well, and probably shown by some of the changes they made, and you got to give it to their whole 1 to 23 and the impact they had. Played a lot of rugby, and at times we just weren't able to combat it. So we've got to have a good look at ourselves around that and make some adjustments.
Did it catch you by surprise at all, Damien?
Nah, not at all. Like, it's Test rugby. You got to expect everything, and we knew the response they were going to have after their loss last weekend, and look, they responded better than we did, and we didn't respond the way we wanted to. So it's disappointing, but we've got to keep our heads high and move on for what's to come ahead against Aussie.
Thanks, Damien.
Cheers. Thank you.
Was this your best performance in a BOK jersey?
Close to.
Yeah.
This was a very good performance. Firstly, I wanted to give thanks to our Lord, Jesus Christ. And then secondly, this performance was for Bevan Fortuin tonight, as well as Coach Rassi. He's been taking a lot of heat, and we know that as a group, and I myself know that as a player. Him backing me to play a different role tonight in a massive test match. Same to the coaching staff, everyone. I think you saw a very positive Springbok side out there. So thank you to the coaches for coaching us. Thank you for the players for stepping up and believing in the plan. I'm just really, really happy with that performance myself individually. I can't do it with the rest of the boys, so they put in a massive effort as well. I thought Jasper was outstanding, not just singling out guys, but Peter Steph was there, a whole pack. It was just really a super strong performance from the team.
Just talk us through the character you guys showed. I mean, in the first half, there were 3 backline subs because of injuries, and still there was the second half performance.
Yeah, we told each other, we went for coffee as the backline on Friday after captain's run, and we told each other, listen, no matter what, we are going to get ourselves into battles no matter what, and if it is so that you play 20 minutes or 40 minutes and you go off, we're going to give you everything. And yeah, even tonight, sad to see the boys. Fussy, I hope he's okay. And then Sasha as well with the head knock, with the amount of work that he put in to get the team on the right mindset. We just told each other that we're gonna put everything on the line, and we did.
Where do you rate this one from a BOK perspective? It is a record when you guys aren't chasing records, just but where do you rate this particular one, especially in New Zealand?
I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but I think this is up there close to a World Cup final. I think obviously getting the win at Eden Park would have been the one, but again, 3 in a row now at Wellington. This is a big one. This is a really, really big one for us.
Damien, first off, congratulations. What an incredible performance out there. It's something that has left a lot of people who are watching it absolutely stunned. I'd like to know, at what point did you guys know that you had it?
I would say that the scrum that we had, I'm not sure if it was our ball or their ball where we scrummed them. I think that was a big turning point in the game. But then yet again, I thought when they in the 60-minute they scrummed us, and I thought that could be also a big momentum swinging. But I think that was a really moment that we thought that we've got them now. And then I think we scored after that, or soon after that, when we made it 24. But yeah, I mean, with New Zealand, you can never tell when they're done and out. But yeah, credit to our boys. I think everyone just kept on playing right until the end and looked for opportunity. Yeah.
You talk about how momentous this is for you guys. Are you aware of just how momentous it is in the other direction for the All Blacks?
Look, I can't really speak on the All Blacks. I can speak on us. We improved from last week, and that's what we wanted to do and rectify. And we rectified some of those errors. Still a few stuff that we didn't quite get right. I think All Blacks could have capitalised on. As I said, strong coaching performance, strong team performance. So high fives to everyone around.
Just talk us through Mani. Mani's often been the one player who's come in for criticism for even if he sneezes on the field. He's been a key part of the 2 big wins against All Blacks. But just talk us through what he put up today, especially when Sasha came off injury.
No, that boy knows pressure. When he started that penalty kick, and they were starting to boo and giving him a little bit of slack there, and he kicked that, I knew he's right in the game. And I just love playing with him. The rest of the team loves playing with him. Sometimes he doesn't get it right. Sometimes he gets it right more than often. So, yeah, I'm stoked for him also to get a very good run. So, yeah, from here we can only get better.
And Damien,
and
no, this is just again show that you can never write off the Springboks. Even in New Zealand.
Yeah, that's what we said to each other. We said we are the Springboks, and let's put some pride back into the Springbok. And we've come under a lot of slack in the past few weeks, and I think that's put a little bit of pressure on us, and got us a little bit stiff, and we forgot to go out and express ourselves and play the Springbok way and the DNA that we know. And tonight we said we're going to put some respect on the Springbok name again, and ourselves, our names as well. And as I said, we played for Coach Rassie, we played for Bevan Fortuin tonight, and we played for each other ultimately, and obviously for South Africa. So, yeah, that was a key message for us.
Talking of coaches, just talk us through the amount of work that you guys are putting in with Zwandile Stick, Felix Jones, and Tony Brown, because you could, especially the broken play and with the kicking game, you could see the collective hand from the coaches and how much work they put in.
Yeah, this week we tweaked a few things. I don't want to get into too much detail, but as I said, the coaches really brainstormed and came up with solid solutions, stuff that we as a team bought into, and you could see that tonight we were really dialed in. Everyone knew their job and their roles, and as I said, the 22-meter entries were going to be a thing on media the other day, and we were very clinical and dialed in, so very happy.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Wallace, tough loss, obviously. A lot of boys hurting. How do you, I guess, can you put a finger on maybe exactly where or how that happened?
Oh, look, firstly, I would like to give all thanks to the Lord. He blessed us today. No matter what happens out there, all the glory and all the honour goes back to Him. I look, full credit to the Springboks. We knew that they were going to respond, especially after last week. But we just didn't, I guess, react to it as we wanted to, and we paid the price there.
Toughest loss of your career, do you think?
Oh, every loss in All Blacks jersey is tough. This one will be up there with the ones that I remember the most. So, yeah, look, like I said, full credit to Rassie and his men. They played really well tonight, and we just didn't respond as well as we wanted to.
How did it feel walking off the field again?
Oh, it was a tough feeling. No matter what, we acknowledge our fans, our families are always going to be there for us, always going to support us. But I think once you go back and watch the tape, we just weren't good enough tonight, and it's never a nice feeling.
Yeah, half time, how were the team feeling? I mean, you were leading by 3 points at that stage.
Yep, we felt really good. Felt like we didn't have much ball, but when we did, we capitalised on our moments. When we held onto the ball, I think we looked very dangerous. We spoke about starting well. Obviously, that didn't happen tonight, but like I said, full credit to the Springboks.
What happened to the line out in the second half? It seemed to, I think it was 3-4 in a row at one stage.
Oh, look, we just weren't functioning as a team there, as a forward pack. We'll go back and look at the tape, but yeah, like you said, probably wasn't good enough. But look, we take full credit there as a team. And we'll get back to the drawing board, and we'll work on it.
What's the key now for you guys after it's a record loss for the All Blacks?
Yeah.
To regroup, still 2 games to go, and a competition that's got all 4 teams on the same record.
Yep. Firstly, we'll celebrate Bumfa. Look, he debuted tonight. I think he played really well. Great moment for him and his family, so we'll celebrate that. We do get a bit of a few days off, so we'll recover well. Move on when we need to move on. But tonight, we'll feel the loss, and at the same time, we'll celebrate Leroy Carter and his family.
Thanks,
Cool. Thanks, Waz.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Tony Brown, Andre Esterhuizen, hands up for questions. There and then there.
Samuel Okamboshe from Galaxy FM. Coach Tony, I guess what has been the message to the guys after the record-breaking performance, just to kind of warn them of any complacency that might creep in?
Yeah, well, obviously, good performance against the All Blacks, but Argentina are a different team playing pretty good rugby. They've beaten the All Blacks already, they've beaten Australia, so the message to our guys is if we don't prepare as well as we can, we don't, I guess, pitch up and be as physical and dominant as possible, we're going to be put under pressure. So getting our game right is the massive part for us this week.
Tony, the way it came together in Wellington, is that a vindication of the direction you'd like the Springbok attack to go in? If people are calling it Tony ball now, are you comfortable with that?
Well, actually, I didn't think we executed too well in the first half. I think we've shown this year patches of good rugby, but I don't think we've put 80 minutes together. So my goal is to get us to perform for 80 minutes, execute all the opportunities that we're producing, and try and really put teams away. So even though last Saturday was good against the All Blacks, our first half was still riddled with errors, and we've just got to be better in those situations.
Tony, when you used to play, Argentina plays in another way his rugby. What do you think about the evolution of our team of Pumas, and what type of team are you watching today?
Yeah, well, I think Felipe's done an amazing job carrying on from, I guess, what Michael Cheika started. So he's got them playing with some amazing Argentinian flair, and they're fully committed to performing for Argentina. So it's a good combo, and they're playing some great rugby and going to be very hard to beat.
Tony, the Argentinians, especially in that game against the All Blacks, were exceptionally good in the air as well. It's one of your guys' strengths as well. Do you see this weekend, especially there seems to be some rain, could be at the game as well, as a big part of the game again this weekend?
Yeah, well, it's become a massive part of the game all around the world, especially now you're not allowed to escort. So the one-on-one contest in the air is becoming really dynamic, and the players that can do it the best are creating opportunities for attacking sides. So Argentina are very good, and we're expecting a massive battle there for sure.
Is part of, the evolution is to make sure that what you guys did well in Wellington is to play off that recycled ball when you win that contest in the air and make sure it moves quickly.
Yeah, always. It's when it's a 50-50 situation, teams are always thinking they're going to win it. So then when they lose it, it's very hard to organise your D quickly. So being able to attack in those situations is, what makes the aerial contest so dynamic now.
Tony, just on the contrast between Auckland and Wellington, and what we saw there in terms of obviously results and performance, but then in terms of style as well. How deliberate was that going into those two games as a coach and to approach the one game that way and the second game that way in terms of the style and the personnel to put off that kind of game plan as well? If you could just give us a bit of insight into that.
Yeah, well, I think the Auckland test was a bit different. They obviously had their record that they wanted to protect. The weather didn't help. Open style rugby, and they got a couple of tries early, and then a little bit similar to what I said before, we didn't execute anything when we got inside their 22. We had so many entries, which I think it was about 12 entries, and executed 2 of them against the All Blacks in Auckland. But when we got to Wellington, we just executed better in the second half, and obviously the conditions were better to be able to move the ball. So for me, we didn't change massively around what we wanted to try and do. We just didn't execute in the first test, and we executed way better in the second half in the second test.
And the goal obviously is to have all personnel, obviously everyone has their different unique strengths and different pockets of the game, but all personnel in the group needs to be able to do what the Boks did in the second half of Wellington.
Yeah, 100%.
Tony, you're looking at two teams who are quite good on attack, and in those situations it can get a bit loose sometimes. How do you prevent that to ensure that
you guys still in the league and in unnecessary points against Argentina, who can be very dangerous on attack.
Yeah, well, they're a very good side, and they definitely move the ball and they make the most of every little opportunity they get. And Argentina like it looser the better. So, the challenge for us is to not obviously give them the looseness that they want and they thrive off. The challenge for us is to implement our game plan, implement our attack and our defence and our set piece on them. So that's the challenge.
So you spoke about the execution that was better in the second half of Wellington. Does that mean that you're not going to tinker for the squad tomorrow?
Not going to.
Tinker in the squad for tomorrow when announced. Does it mean that you're not going to tinker much?
Oh, you have to wait and see, mate.
Question for Andre. What was it like being part of that performance in the second half? Suddenly you scoring 36 points unanswered, scoring 5 tries. And do you also think there's more to come from you guys? You scored one of those tries, very well done.
Yeah, thanks. It was obviously special to be part of a game like that, but like Tony said, there's still so much to work on. Yes, second half, a lot of stuff came into our favour because we executed better, we worked harder. But like I said, a lot of errors still in that first half, and I think that shows us what we actually can do when we execute and we play well together. Because it's a big thing for us is playing together. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing for me. And what we take out of this is if we execute, how good it can be. And now it's just being consistent and putting consistently performances in like that.
And Tony, the way the guys played in Wellington, some of the guys, in a sense, we probably had a lot of fixed thinking in terms of who we think is number one and so on. But if some guys maybe sort of giving you the idea that team selection forward would be a little trickier scenario now.
I think what you've seen is it's always a tricky scenario with Rusty at the helm. So you guys just have to wait for him to announce the team. And
no, I didn't mean to announce the team. I mean in the long term, the way players are sort of putting up their hands.
I think we've got a squad of 35 to 45 players that are all capable of playing test match rugby. They all offer different things around the game and their individual attributes. I'm always comfortable with whoever we send out there, that they can do the job and they can play the way that we want to play as a team. And Andre just mentioned around the attacking side and making sure that we're always attacking together. All of the players that I've coached in the last couple of years, they can do that, and I'm 100% confident whoever we send out to do the job that they can do it. It's just we want to build depth, and you've seen selections change every week, and that's not going to change, I don't think.
Andre, as a team, what do you learn of the last year series in Santiago del Estero and Nelspruit against the Pumas, and what kind of match do you imagine on Saturday?
Yeah, I think always playing Argentina, you can expect a tough battle. It is a tough country with tough people, so it's always going to be a physical battle, and they've come a very long way in the way they play. Like Tony said, they've got a lot of flair, and they take a lot of their opportunities, especially with loose ball. Like you mentioned, in the air, playing a lot of turnovers, and they've got special players that can make special things happen. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a tight game, especially a hard battle up front. But yeah, like I said, whoever takes care of the ball the most and obviously win the aerial battle and the loose balls around that will come out on top. So I think it's going to be a few good tries that's obviously going to be scored, but yeah, definitely a tough game.
Andre, maybe one of the things of Wellington, the hallmarks of that victory was the fact that you guys lost 4 players in that first half, but never seemed to shake the resolve or never seemed to rattle you guys. Maybe from just a player's point of view, just maybe talk about that sort of confidence that no matter what happens, that you guys adapt the situation?
I think that's what Tony spoke about, the squad of 36. Everyone knows the plan. Doesn't matter if you play or not play this week, everyone knows the plan. And if something happens the night before and someone has to step up, he just steps up into the role. And like he said, they back every player to just step in and play the same game. Everyone is test match ready, if I can state it in that way. So if you come up on minute 4, minute 60, doesn't really matter. You know your role and how you need to play, and everyone slots in quite comfortably because we train that well.
Just sort of admin, Tony, is everyone in the squad actually available for selection on the weekend? I'm thinking of Sasha after last weekend.
I think everyone, yeah, except for Fussy.
Oh, Tony, looking at the table, that means it's very tight margins between all the 4 sides. How much, going on Saturday, that you need to have a bonus point?
Obviously a bonus point would be good, but we're obviously focusing on how we beat Argentina. We've got to perform really well to get the result. And if things go exceptionally well, you might sneak a bonus point, but our focus is just getting across the line, making sure we perform well so we get a win against Argentina.
Andre, your home ground, no one knows the conditions better than you in this Springbok squad. The humidity hasn't quite arrived, but the dew, is that a factor now this time of the year?
I think it's still going to be slippery. As I saw, I think it's like 26 or 27 degrees. So yeah, with all the sweat and the humidity, well, you said it hasn't arrived, but it is quite humid still, especially that time of night. So I think the ball is going to be slippery. The conditions are going to be tough to play in. That's also where we can expect a lot of loose ball. So yeah, we are prepared for it. I think everyone knows the conditions well. I think most of the guys have played here before, especially in URC and Springbok level or Test level. So we definitely are prepared for it.
And just a word on the atmosphere. It looks like it's heading towards close to sellout, if not sellout. Your experience of playing Test match rugby at Kings Park, what it's like?
Yeah, it's sold out. Kings Park is always a great place to play at. The vibe's always good, and it helps the players a lot, especially in tight games. So yeah, it gives us a lot of energy, and we love seeing full stadiums.
Tony, the decision to bring Billy in for the first half of the week, was that partly you? Did you have some say in that? And then also what you're hoping to, what you'd like to see from him over the 3 days, having a guy in when he's not playing on the weekends?
Yeah, well, Billy's a massive part of our squad. He's so experienced, especially we've got young guys at 10 and 15. He comes in and gives them a helping hand around preparing for a test match of this level, understanding the game, understanding conditions, and him just competing against those guys at training just makes our team better, and it's always good to have him in. Even though he's not going to play this week, his value is huge, and it's always good to see him.
Andre, it's not about this match because in Argentina lots of trainers and coaches go crazy when they watch Rasi talking about you switching about playing with the backs and with the forwards, and they start thinking about which player of my team can do that. How was that process for you? It was natural. How are you enjoying that moment now where you can be used for the team in every position?
It was obviously an interesting decision, but luckily the size makes it easier to be able to do that. It was for me, it was quite natural. Obviously here and there a few things to learn still and to pick up, but it is tough in front there, especially the training sessions is a lot different than the backs training sessions. For me, I quite like it. I give myself a bit more chance to get into the team, for me, wherever I go on, 12 or 6, I'm just happy to play. So yeah.
Guys, bloggers off, and then Okay, everyone knows how it's going to work. Were you here when we explained first 15 minutes, and the last 7 or 8 minutes is going to be Afrikaans? Okay, cool. Awesome, guys. I hope you don't mind us starting 2 or 3 minutes early. So we've explained everything. Rassi and Morne, hands up for questions.
Coach Russ, Damien back at 15 after starting at 12 against New Zealand. Did his performance in that match change your mind for this week's test against Argentina?
Yeah, well, firstly, afternoon everybody. Firstly, Fassi's injured and he's out for quite some time. And I think we were quite honest about Damien. You know, he was struggling a bit with form, and we thought bringing him closer to the game at 12, where it can just be a little bit more instinctive. That's the honest truth. We thought just bringing him back into it, and then into the game they got an injury, and he moves to 15, and he was just as comfortable. So, you know, he's done many great things for us. People think he's young, but he's won World Cups and British Irish Lions series, and yeah. So I think he's back to top form. Sometimes you just need one game to get you back there, and yeah, I think it's quite an obvious choice. We'll fuss it up.
Rassi, it looks like you've rewarded a bit of form and performance from Wellington. Is that the case? And then also just on the temptation, given how well Mani played on the weekend, was there temptation to give him a 10 on that?
Yeah, that one is always. I think people start thinking I'm just saying the things because it's a nice answer, but we really think that our players are really close to each other, and I know a lot of people try to sometimes say, no, not our people, but that we don't know who's our best team, and we like to know who's not our best team, and the guys are really competing well. You know, we've given a little bit of continuity. This is a crunch game, but last weekend was a crunch game, and the previous game was a crunch game, and it will be like that for the rest of the year. We're only halfway now. So Mani played really well, but Sasha were awesome when he played there, and until he got the head knock, and he was good at 15 as well. He was there for a little while. You know, and Andre is not in this team. We hope if things goes our way this week. It would be nice to change a little bit next week again, but first so Mani played awesome, but Mani's on the bench, and you know, if things goes great, maybe give him a run and move Sasha during the game to 15 again, and maybe Gaza back to 12 and Andre to loose forward. I know, so whatever happens in the game, let's hope it works out so we can experiment a little bit with a lot of respect for Argentina at the same time.
Rassi, just maybe you can talk a bit about the tight head, the choice between Thomas and Wilco, because Wilco obviously in the second half, that first scrum almost gave you guys the momentum to run on there. And just, is it Thomas's mobility that gets him the nod ahead of him, or what's your thoughts there?
You know, there was a long time when Malcolm played off the bench and Bongi started, and Malcolm came in and finished games and really changed the game for us. And there wasn't much to pick between Bongi and Malcolm. At this stage, I'll get to the Wilco answer now. At this stage, you know, Bongi unfortunately had some illness in the family, and he's only really joined us now in the last weeks or so. So we will just get him up to speed again. But say Marnus did well, and Jan Hendrik covers too fast as well. And the same with Wilco, you know. Wilco definitely, we all know, I think he's one of the world's best scrummers. Thomas is technically very good, but as you say, his mobility over the field, covering ground, handling that fast pace, which Argentina brought and New Zealand brought to us, and Argentina will bring. And then we, rightly or wrongly, we feel Wilco really brings that edge for us in scrums, but also then in general play when the game's a little bit slower.
Coach, what kind of a game are you expecting against Argentina?
Well, it's both teams are obviously in the run for the Rugby Championship. You know, I think they were really good. Lions game, Australia. You know, both Australia games, I thought they could have won. And you've gone to Pomi and Filippo. I mean, he's my age. We're the same era. You know, Lobbe is a great coach. I think he does the lineouts. They've got a high ball coach. I think Kingsley is his name. He's the Irish guy, and then they've got a New Zealander in there. Lynn, I think is his surname. You know, so they've got a lot of experience and different cultures, and their team play all over the world. And you've got them organized, energetic, young guys, fearless, and with trying to. They'll probably come and try and score 3 tries against us to try and be in the mix for the Rugby Championship.
Rusty, looking at your centre pairing, normally when you see Damien Dallin that come in, him and Jesse are normally a combo, or are you wanting to see how Kanan goes with Damien Dallin as a combination?
Yeah, I think earlier this year we also had Damien and Kanan together. I'm not quite sure. I think so. But, Damien and Lucanio was a combo at one stage. Lucanio is coming back. The URC is playing. He's in the mix in a week or so. Kanan and Andre is a great combo. We enjoy Andre off the bench. But if you just look at the changes we've made, it's mostly injury forced. And we thought, Kanan really, when he's close to the ball, and I feel also make a little bit more instinctive calls where he doesn't have to stand there on a wing and work with the fullback and so on. I think he's, again, like Damien, sometimes a really good instinctive player. And to have Damien Dalende come in whilst Andre Estres and I'm missing out. Jesse will play for us a lot more, so it's nice to try the combos, yes.
Rasi, where do you see the evolution of Argentina today? And what's your opinion about the future of the Rugby Championship? Because South Africa was always very helpful with Argentina. And now the tournament is on risk. And in Argentina, we are hoping to play every year against the Springboks, All Blacks, and Wallabies. What's your opinion about it?
No, we love Argentina. I know Augustine Pichot's a friend of mine. We're very close friends. And they've always stood by us when we need them, and I think we've stood by them when they needed us. As I said, I think our countries are very similar in certain ways. They've got a team, I know their club system is getting better. I wrongly last year said they don't have a good club system and their players are playing all over the world. And one of the guys explained to me how the club system worked there. But their players they're sacrificing a hell of a lot. They didn't even go back from Australia back home. They came straight here, and they're all over the world anyway before they come into camp. So there's also people who's desperate. They're not just on the rugby field, also off the rugby field. So as long as we can play against Argentina and with Argentina, and you see what they're doing this year. I know they're 5th or 6th on the log, but they can beat any team. They beat us last year, and as I said to previous answer, they're one of the teams since I've been involved 2018 that gave us one of the biggest hiding, I think 36-12 or something like that, away from home. So, no, we love playing against them, and we think we're very similar in how we are as people.
Rusty, I beg your pardon.
Rusty, we know that there's long-term planning and building depth and growth in 2027. It's obviously very important. But how much does the next 2 weeks factor into that? I mean, how much does winning the Rugby Championship factor into the long-term planning? Do you kind of keep that going, or is there a bit of the next 2 weeks kind of putting the depth charts on hold a little bit just to win the title?
Yeah, I think the team we picked was definitely with Argentina in mind to try and win this game. They're speedy, they're bouncy. Sinti's a sevens player, Chocobaras. I mean, the Albanese, I don't know how to say his surname exactly. I think he's back. The nine is unbelievably pacey. The wingers are both pacey. The fullback is so experienced. And they really got a well-balanced team and line-outs and everything. So we thought this team that we picked, not just for continuity from last week, even if we lost last week, I think the mix of this team obviously would have loved to have Luet still in the mix and was a big ask, should we pick Sos or not, and Franco in this game or not. But yeah, we think the youth that they have and the willingness to play from deep and the way they are aerially, it's very similar to how we played at one stage. But yeah, they've got also this cutting edge speed where there's a lot of sevens players. So I think this team is very much picked to try and beat Argentina.
Rusty,
Can I answer?
Yeah. Rusty, there are quite a few guys in your squad that originally in 2015, I think, lost the first time to Argentina, I think, at home.
Yeah.
Have they sort of said anything maybe to the squad, maybe in a cautionary way, or is that sort of long gone?
No, Stephen, it is. It's never nice being part. I mean, there's guys here that lost against Japan, and we're playing Japan a little bit later this year. We couldn't go and break the Eden Park hoodoo, but then we managed to put a big score in New Zealand. So these mini milestones sometimes get in the way of one's focus, and the realistic as it stands today. Argentina beat us last year there. I know we've beaten us the first time here in South Africa, and a lot of our guys were part of that. But for us, it's a team that we think where they are now in 2018, we were probably there, and the next year we won the World Cup. So this is a very dangerous Argentinian team, and if we worry about when guys got some mental scars because they beat us before, I think all of us have been involved with them beating us. So no, we try not to chat too much about that, but we know it's a real threat from their side.
Coach Russell, how much does it help that All Blacks in Australia will play any game and then from your side later on in the afternoon Australia? How much does it help?
To know what the score is.
Yeah.
No, obviously we'll have a look at that. I mean, even at the before the game in Wellington, while just before we had our team talk, I was on the phone checking, because it does give you extra motivation if you know you're still in the mix or not. And with that last try Australia scored, I think we would have been. Yeah, they got 2 league points there, and but you could tell the players before the game, boys, we're in the mix. We win this game, rugby championships live. So we will definitely look at the score and what the score is there. But that wouldn't make a difference in our approach and how we've trained so far, last week, Friday, Saturday, and what we did yesterday and today. So tomorrow is our last day we really train, except for no captain's practice. But of course, we'll watch the score and maybe get a little bit more motivation and know exactly what we have to do in the game.
In Argentina, we talk a lot about the lack of consistency of the team, because they won one match, they lost the other in the last few years. From your experience, which are the key points to build a strong mentality in a team, a winning mentality week by week? Like you make it in the last 10 years here.
No, we also get it wrong. We've won one, lost one Australia, then won one, lost one to All Blacks. And I think the challenge with, not for me to speak on behalf of Argentina, it's just my opinion. I think the challenge is when you get players from all over the world and you have a squad like that and you get an injury here or there, you're not together all the time. You can't get them into little camps. I know Filippo is a smart man. He's a real doctor, not a doctor like I am. He's a real doctor, and he's got he's got Kingsley, the Irishman, going around teaching the guy eyeball where they play for the Caps. I know, there's also the New Zealander Lynn in there that does the attack. So. I think he's getting there. For us, it's nervously we've been getting there really close. But getting players from all over and coordinating that is probably the biggest challenge, because we've got about 14, 15 players who doesn't play in South Africa. And it's tougher to manage them within South Africa, where you can just draw guys into a camp, align them. So I think alignment's probably, but he's getting it right. So I mustn't talk too much about that.
Guys, we've got one more question before vloggers go off. Does anyone have a question for Mornay before we switch off vlogging? Okay.
Morning. How exciting it is to be part of this team that has won the championship, and also the squad is already starting to prepare for the next one.
Yes, it's very exciting. It's a massive privilege to be a part of it, to learn, to be here every day, to learn more. And to be part of a test week and to prep for it and to add to it.
Thank you, guys.
I can just say a guy like Krapis, sometimes people don't know what, not offer up, because it's a privilege to play for the Springboks and nobody, but I mean last year he couldn't play in the Currie Cup final. He's only got 3 caps with us now, and he couldn't play in the Currie Cup final, and the Lions just lost in the last minute. This year couldn't play in the Currie Cup final because he's in camp with us now. So sometimes it's worth the wait, and he's probably one of the guys in the team that's been waiting a really long time and just really practice hard. And I think people must just remember that he hasn't played a lot and he's really missed out on a few big things just for waiting for this opportunity. So we're all very glad for him.
Vloggers off, please, guys.
We're back. It's the penultimate round of the Rugby Championship. The Springboks are playing Argentina, and all 4 teams on 2 wins each. So it's on the knife edge at the moment. With me, as always, Gavin Rich and Nick Mallet. Welcome, guys. Nick, start with you. BOK team name this week, quite an interesting one, rewarding a lot of the players who did well in Wellington.
Yeah, it's good to be back and good chatting to you both again, as usual. I think, we had a speculation that Rusty, well, I speculated, not you guys, that Rusty has promised that he's going to give guys opportunities, the young guys and the old guys would get fewer games this year, probably 8. I think he mentioned something like 8 or 9 out of 13. So I was expecting a few more changes, but it's quite. I mean, it's very satisfactory to see that same backline go out virtually. You've got Fassi being replaced by Damien, obviously, and Damien Dallender coming in. He's such a widely and well-respected inside centre, so that's no problem. And then obviously the Lurt de Jager injury forced the other one. But one could have perhaps imagined had Fassi and Lurt not got injured, they might have even started. He might have even started with the same 15 and given them a vote of confidence. Just one aspect of it that I'm very interested to see is I thought the decision making of Mani Lubbock was outstanding in the second half, and had Sasha stayed on the field, it would have been great to see how he would have managed that game. And so he's been given another opportunity. Let's hope he manages to finish at least 60 minutes or whatever Rusty's planning to give him, and to see whether he has the ability to get the best out of a backline and take good decisions at the right time.
Yeah, Brendan, the team, I like the team. You'll know that I like the team because there's a little bit of continuity to it, and these are important. Like last two, as you said yourself when we started, that it's on a knife edge. Not too much to add to what Nick said, other than, well, I was half expecting him to play Mani just because he's played Mani in the last 2 tests against Argentina. You remember Mani missed that kick in the game in Argentina last year. And he cooked against them at Nelspruit last year. But I don't think we're necessarily going to be trying to play the same game that we played in Nelspruit anyway. So it is good to see Sasha get another chance to wear the 10, because he hasn't worn the 10 that often this season. I'm actually going to, like, for my talking point, I'm going to go outside of the bench. Outside of the starting team, and go to the choice of hooker again. I'm very interested to see Jan Hendrik Wessels back. And, obviously, I've said before that I don't know how long Bongi's going to still remain part of the setups. And once again, he's not there. I don't actually, is he part of the squad at the moment, Brendan?
Yeah, he is.
I actually can't remember.
He
is part of the squad. Okay.
So he's Rossi said they're getting him slowly back into the swing of things, whatever that means. So
okay. Well, I know from having spoken to the guys at the Sharks on that he is a little bit overweight from what he was when he won the World Cup. And, well, when I say a little bit, he's about 4 or 5 kgs heavier, or he has been this year compared to what he was then. So maybe he'll go to Dance Farm or wherever those guys.
Yeah.
To lose a bit of weight.
Yeah, I think it's great to have a look at Wessels there, at Jan Henrik Wessels at hooker as well. He's got massive potential in that position. He's strong enough to be a loose head prop. It's almost like that old Argentinian player who would be a prop and then move to hooker, and then that whole front row the Bachiada started that special push that they used to have. Came from having 3 props in the front row, and one of those props was able to throw in. So a guy like Jan Henrik Wessels, apart from the fact that he's incredibly quick around the field, he has all the attributes to be another Marks. But it's good to see that Bongi's been brought back in. I just think that maybe it's harder when you're 35, 36 to recover from injuries than it is for a 22-year-old, 23-year-old. So good luck to him. But I think the future perhaps is with another hooker.
I think that the thing about Bongi is that Victor Matfield, he was a natural athlete. So he and obviously Victor, I've never spoken to Victor about this, but I would imagine that he went on a diet later in his life, and maybe he didn't actually, knowing Victor, maybe he didn't go complete abstinence from drinking, but he probably did sort of like look after himself a lot more in those later years. Brunnis is Dion Fourie is called Brunnis for a reason, so I don't think he necessarily leaves drink alone completely either. But he's also another athlete. So those guys can play till they're 38, 39, but Bongi's, he's got to build a different type of build. So I don't think he's a natural athlete. He's going to have to change his whole lifestyle probably in order to still be an athlete at 35. So I think that's really the issue there.
Yeah, I was going to say, as long as he doesn't go to the same doctor that Asanati went to, but that's a different story and a different discussion altogether. Guys, just Argentina, I mean, I know a lot of South Africans probably think we beat Argentina quite regularly, but this year they have beaten the British Lions, British and Irish Lions. They have beaten Australia and they have beaten New Zealand. So they certainly are a threat, and they have won in Durban before, although there was a bit of an asterisk with that one. But still, they a hell of a good team. They're a hell of a pacey, lots of sevens players in that team as well. Nick, just your thoughts on them?
I've got tremendous respect for the Argentinians as a rugby nation. They've made, I think, something close on 3 of the last 4 semi-finals of the World Cup that they played in. Philippe Contaponi is a wonderful coach. He's been involved with Leinster for a long period of time. He's a qualified doctor, a bright guy, and obviously is passionate about rugby. So he's gone into coaching and has done a brilliant job with them. I mean, it's just magnificent. They probably have the most flowing backline in terms of the ability to run onto the ball with various options around the ball carrier than anyone else. I think better than New Zealand and better than Australia. So he's really coached those guys. They have sweeping backline movements with lots of dummy runners, people available on inside balls, guys coming short, playing behind the back, and they maintain their depth. But because they're running flat out, they get to the advantage line quickly with accurate passing. I mean, they've scored some wonderful tries. So they've moved away from obviously that kicking and scrumming and mauling team and become a very dangerous side to play against. You have to be at your best, and when we are at our best, we have got the physicality to dominate their pack and give good ball to force them to make lots of tackles. But if it's a 50-50 game and they manage to win 50% of the ball, then we're going to be up against it against them because they truly have got a very, very good attack.
Yeah, I think, Brent, that to me they've been quite good at attacking off transition for a while, but what they've sort of added to this year is like attacking off set phase, and they've done I think that they've done really well. So they've improved. I do sort of see them, to be honest, as a bit of a mini me of the box in a way, in the sense that I think that they might be able to bully other teams. And get away against other teams what they won't against us. When I say a mini me, I'm talking about obviously the Austin Powers thing, like a smaller version of the box. And I think that's the one thing that they may struggle with, in the sense that if the box go out to strangle them and manage it, which they could, I think then the Argentinians are taken into a place that they're not used to. Then there come question marks. I'm not sure if their discipline's been quite as poor recently as it used to be, but their discipline could then be a problem, and they end up losing players to the bin. So I think that could possibly be a problem for Argentina on Saturday, and just in the sense that they are playing against the one team that can sort of bully them, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I agree with that, except I think their discipline has improved enormously under Contaponi. Really, that's been penalised far fewer times for stupid, unnecessary mistakes. Obviously, in any game, you're going to be penalised for coming in from the side or perhaps, but not the sort of yellow, red card things that were happening in the past. You think a loose forward like Kremer's been making over 20 tackles a game. Matera, when they beat the All Blacks, was absolutely outstanding. So I don't think they're nervous about our physicality. I think we will be too strong for them and too organised, but they're incredibly proud and passionate players and can lift themselves for a game like this. So the fact that they're not giving away these stupid penalties, which often then would relieve pressure and allow the opponents, often they'd be playing with 14 men, and giving consecutive penalties, you end up by the line in no time at all. So if they get their discipline right, they've got 2 wonderfully talented Albanese, I think, one way, and Carrera, they're 2 10s. Whoever's playing They get the best out of that back line. And defensively, they work hard. So it's not a surprise, quite frankly, that they've beaten Australia once and that they've beaten New Zealand once. I think it is very much a matter of focus, concentration, focus. Remember last week we spoke about the All Blacks having beaten us at Eden Park and then perhaps being a notch down in the game when we played them at Wellington, and we went a notch up, having been a little bit, obviously we went in that game hoping to win, but perhaps not with the same intensity that we had in the second game. And the Argentinians, when they lost the first test against the All Blacks, they came back. They were a different animal when they played that second test. So it all depends on what our attitude is. Are we going to be a team that wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one, or are we now going to maintain that dominance that we had against the All Blacks, and particularly in that second half? I hope so. I really hope so, because that came out of good decision making, good kicking in the second half, scoring, taking opportunities in their 22. I think it was 12 or 13 times, and scored 6 tries from them. Whereas the week before it was 2 out of 12. So it is about taking opportunities and maintaining your discipline.
I was going to say, I'm glad you mentioned that, Nick, because I think the biggest question on the Springbok team is, can they back up that performance? So often we haven't seen Springbok teams being able to back up that performance. And it was certainly an exceptional performance. It was nice to see Tony Brown earlier this week also talk about how they weren't happy about that first half. All good at the second half, but that first half, there's still lots of work on. So they're certainly drumming that home. Gav, I mean, just your thoughts on that. Durban hasn't been a happy hunting ground always for the Springboks. They lost to Ireland there last year. They lost to Argentina, but they've beaten Argentina a couple of times. Argentina will be very used to this field. I think they played there 3 or 4 times in the last 8 or 9 years. And they also, I mean, the other one was that big pre-Russie All Black game that they lost there. Durban's not always been the Boks' favourite hunting ground.
No, 57-15 was that game you're talking about in 2016, the All Blacks. I was there. I've been at all those games where the Boks have lost. But you talk about the asterisks to the 2015 game. I bumped into Heineke Meyer. He was the BOK coach then when I was walking along the Umhlanga beachfront, I think the day before the game, and we ended up having quite a long chat. And it was one of those situations where the BOK coach asks you, like, oh, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? And because he's the BOK coach, like I probably did with Nick when he was the BOK coach, you sort of say, well, I think you guys are going to win and you're going to do well. And Heineke sort of actually stopped me and he said, no. He said, what you need to know is that I worked the guys incredibly hard this week, that they did a heck of a lot of fitness. And he said, we're going to be flat. And they were flat and they were outplayed. So maybe Heineke got that one wrong. So that's the asterisk to Durban those years ago. When it comes to Argentina and Durban, the Boks have won the other games, but they haven't always hit target. You'll recall that the last time they played them, I think it was 2022, and the Boks needed to win with a bonus point, which is actually an important thing to talk about now as well. But they needed to win with a bonus point to pip New Zealand to the Rugby Championship. And they were on target to do that. And then, funnily enough, we were talking about in Argentina in discipline earlier on. If I remember correctly, Durban got a yellow card in that game, and the Boks actually got they lost their discipline a bit, and so they didn't pick up the 3 tries. So it's not a stadium where the Boks always hit target. There have been occasions when they have. I mean, there was that game where Morné Steyn scored more than 30 points against the All Blacks in 2009. And also the 2009, obviously, the British and Irish Lions game. That was when they won the first test. But it generally has been a bit of a sort of iffy stadium for the Boks. So you're right. But I mean, not that the stadium should matter. Maybe there's a little bit of clamminess around it this time of the year, but it's not quite like it is in December and January there. Early spring can put a little bit of slippery ball, but not quite as much as later on. So there's, I have a good feeling about the Boks on Saturday. I just sort of feel that there's been so much talk about perfecting their game this week, which they did in the first 20 minutes against Australia in Joburg. I'm not saying that I expect that again, but I think that's sort of the standard of the Boks. I think that second half in Wellington and that first 20 minutes in Joburg.
Yeah, absolutely. This Brendan, I think the one not concerning thing, but in a sense, going into this game with the same team, there's perhaps going to be a feeling that the same team can kick off the game like they finished it last time. And a rugby game's never like that. It is never. Every single rugby game has its own story and its own momentum swings and its own moments of when you've got to defend and turn pressure, turn it onto the opposition, slow the ball down, play a kicking game, or accelerate the game when you're in a strong position. And I mean, I've never seen it before, but the All Blacks were in disarray at the end of that game. If it had gone on another 10 minutes, we'd have scored another 10 points, another 2 tries, 3 tries. So this one, we have to work. We have to understand that we've got to wear them down first. I don't necessarily think we're going to run them off their feet, in that first half. It's got to be building an innings and then finishing it off strongly at the end of the game. And you can score in 20 minutes. You can score 3 tries easily if you dominated a team for 60. So playing in the right areas of the field, the importance of Sasha making good decisions for his team and being direct. Still being direct. We can have the movement of transition ball, of winning ball, aerial contests, or turnovers, poor kicks from them. But from your set pieces, let's make sure we get across the advantage line and use our big runners and really wear them down. That's what is going to be very important. We don't want to go back and see a team that overplays like we did in Emirates Airline Park. That would be very disappointing.
Well, I think the most important thing against an Argentina team, and Nick, you having played in France and having coached Italy, you know all about Latin temperament. And the one thing that's never changed, right from our very first test of the post-isolation era, if I remember correctly, under Ian McIntosh in '93, South Africa dominated the first half, and then they let the Argentinians a bit into the game. And it's almost like the Asterix and Obelix cartoons that we read when we were kids, as if somebody gave them magic potion at halftime. But it's just that little bit of breathing. So I said earlier on that the Boks will be out to suffocate them, and I think against this Argentinian team, that's probably what's important, is not to let them breathe. If they breathe they get 2 quick tries. That's what happened in the game in Argentina last year. South Africa were dominating the game. I think they got 1 or 2 tries, and then suddenly they dominated the game. That is the problem with Argentina, is that they grow an extra arm and a leg if you give them just that little bit of and I don't know if that's the Latin temperament, but certainly I think it applies in their case.
Yeah. No, it is. It definitely is the Latin temperament. What I've been impressed about with this team is, like the Australians, they don't go away. You get 20 points up, they come back at you. They come back. Australians came back at us at 20 points up, and Argentina did the same. When the All Blacks, I think they got 10 or 14 points ahead, and it didn't bother them. They kept on playing, and won it. Won it convincingly at the end of the game. So what Rusty said, I think, is really important, that you respect your opponent and you don't think more than a week ahead. So we must concentrate on this game. Let's just get through this challenge. Then we worry about Twickenham and whether it's a good home game for us or not. I think this is so important for these players, for an Ethan Hooker, for Damien Willems at fullback, who said that he'd lost a bit of confidence at fullback. But having played at centre and then going to fullback, he was so full of confidence, having played so well at centre, that he carried that confidence through to the fullback position when he was playing there. Let's hope he carries that into this game. Is Sasha going to get through a game of rugby? It's worrying, the fact that he goes off so often. I think it's 4 or 5 times he hasn't made half time, if you add the Stormers' performances and being with the Boks. So lots of questions that can be answered in this game, and certainly Argentina, a team that's going to ask those questions of our forwards and our backline. They're a good side. They're a really good side, top 6 in the world, and I think you've got to be on your toes to beat them comfortably.
Last question from me. I think we'll start wrapping it up. There is just one of the you mentioned the aerial contest. That's going to be fascinating, because when Argentina beat the All Blacks, that's where they beat them. It was in the air, and where we beat the All Blacks in Wellington was the same. Both sides are brilliant in the air, so it's interesting, because you almost wonder if there's not a thing just to vary it a bit more than we did in Wellington, because they're so good in the air. But then again, they've got threats in all parts of the park as well.
The one thing about this, I'll try and be quick here. Sorry, Gavin, is that now without escorting, you can't protect your catcher now. So the touch judges are watching for obstructive running. So it allows your guys to really get some momentum going up that ball. If the kicks are good, if the kicks are outside the 22, so that the player can't mark it, we can get a bit of acceleration and jump, whereas they're often static. And we've got some. I mean, Ethan Hooker was outstanding, and as is Colby, and as are the guys we leave. If we left Etzebeth out there or Peter Steff, sometimes we leave a big loose forward out there to cause damage with those high balls. So, but what they've done is they've got a lot of sevens players in that back line, and their two wingers are very good under the high ball as well. So that's going to be a difficult contest. Not quite. I don't think about it. It won't go as easily as it did for us against the All Blacks. The All Blacks were very poor in the air, I thought, and that was an area of the game that we completely dominated.
Gav,
you want me to come in? What about the aerial game?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I agree with everything Nick says there. So there's nothing. My prediction is that the Boks will win by at least 50. No, I mean, and this isn't disrespecting Argentina, and it's not negating what we've all said, the good things about Argentina. I just think that's in South Africa at home. I think that's, as I said earlier, the standard. South Africa have set the standard. I know what the Boks standard is, and I think they'll maintain that standard. They may not start off like a house on fire, like as we said about at Ellis Park, but I think that they'll systematically wear the Argentinians down, and I think the bookies have also gone for about 16 points. So I think they've got it right this time. I think it's 15 to 16. Well, more than 15 points. I'd be surprised if it was closer than that.
Yeah. So mine is, I think everything's been very tight in the competition except for our game against the All Blacks where we ran away, and ironically when Australia ran away with us by 36 points. I think it'll be around 10. I'm just giving them a little bit more credit, perhaps, and I think they're a decent side who can maybe, our younger brother, if you like, as you said, mini me or whatever you call it, but they certainly do things right. I think it's going to be a good test for us, and a 10-point win, 30 points, 32, 22, or something like that, I think will be a good result for us.
Yeah. I'm going to echo what you guys said. I also think the Boks will win, probably by more than a score, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think the big thing here is the bonus point. To score 3 tries more than them is going to be very difficult, and especially with their attack at the moment. So I'd be happy with just a win, and then hopefully nobody picks up a bonus point in New Zealand, in Auckland as well, and then it goes down to the final week as well. But yeah, thanks guys for that. We'll be back after the test as well to talk about that, and then to look ahead to Twickenham. And enjoy the game, guys.
Cheers. I'll see you there.
Thanks, Brendan. Cheers.
Rassie Erasmus was asked about Matt Williams. Now, of course, there's a history going on here. We all know the history. Matt Williams said a lot of the stuff. The 7-1 bench was not in the spirit of the game. He gave Rassie a lot of stick for that. Rassie hit him back on a couple of times on Twitter and pointed to his record, which is really bad as an international coach. I think he won 2 games out of 15 as Scotland coach when he was still Scotland coach. But he's been a very vocal critic of Rassie Erasmus, and I know the Boks don't enjoy him at all, to be very honest. And he sort of made his name as a bit of a troll. He's a bit of clickbait for a lot of people. Now this week he was on my mate Martin Devlin's podcast there in New Zealand, and with Lachlan, who's standing in for Martin while he was in Europe. And was quite complimentary about the Boks. So let's watch that clip quickly, and you can see what he said about the Springboks back then.
And until we can get some parity and people come to games not knowing who's going to win, that'll be the case. If we've just got only 2 teams that can win the championship, it's boring. I know it's great for New Zealanders and South Africans, but we've got to do, for the game, we've got to do better than that. And I think this championship's really delivered that. It's been fabulous rugby. And I think the greatest, how do I say it? The greatest change and the real evolution and growth in the game, which is hugely positive, is the way the South Africans are playing. Like the 7-1 bench has quietly died. Thank God. No one went to a wake and no one's saying, isn't that sad? And they played some absolutely extraordinary rugby and unleashed the talent of the athleticism that we all know is in these South African players. And unfortunately, New Zealand saw that the other week. Now, in the short term, obviously, I understand where everyone in New Zealand is hurting. When New Zealand friends are just mortified, I get it. But in the long run, I think that's going to be great for the game. And the New Zealanders will respond, And as an Australian, unfortunately, going to Eden Park, where we
This
haven't won
weekend, yeah.
since 1986.
Yeah.
My generation to play Steve Timon and Bretty Papworth, David Campuzzi, those guys. I was club mates of Steve and Brett when they won it, and it's been since then. And I'll say, well, there's going to be a bit of a backlash here, and.
This was, of course, after their win over the All Blacks in Wellington, quite an impressive win, etc. But then we got to the team announcement, and of course, one of the things that happens at the team announcement, we only allow to tape about 10 minutes of the press conference on video, but I do have the audio of the rest of it, and then this part what happened in the audio section. We went to that tape video. So yeah, I'm going to give you. Irasi was asked about Matt Williams' comments by a journalist over there, and he looked a bit irritated by the question, and he didn't really want to. And his media manager said to him, "You don't have to answer if you don't have to," but he decided to take it and answer it. So yeah, was his answer, and it's quite clear that he's not a big fan of Matt Williams. So just for what it is, this is his answer. I don't think there's too much more to this. I think if I was Rusty, I'd probably be quite irritated anyway at just the constant sort of thing. What do you think about Matt Williams? Because he is rather somebody who makes a lot of noise, and well, from a South African point of view, that's all it is. He's a bit of a troll.
Coach Rassi, Matt Williams recently came out and spoke about the fact that he's happy to see that the 7-1 split has sort of died following your performances against the All Blacks and stuff. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Has the 7-1 split died? Are we ever going to see the 7-1 split again? Because he says it was against the spirits of rugby.
You shared his record on Twitter.
You don't have to answer, you don't have to answer.
No, he doesn't really in our team. I don't think any of our players or our management take him serious. With all respect, he's an elderly person, and he's been around the block, and I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of respect for him. But how we see him, they use him as clickbait, and if that's what he wants to do. I mean, we don't comment on other teams, what their team selection is like and how they play and how they should combine their teams. And I know he's an island, but he's Australian, so does he represent the way Australia think or Ireland think, so we hear it, but we laugh at it.
So there you have it, Rossi not deflecting the question quite quickly, and understandably, I think it's a sideshow. It's certainly one of those that the Springboks have got a task this week. They're going to beat Argentina. They want to retain their rugby championship title. I think there's no comparison when you compare the two records of the two men. And really, I mean, there's a lot of noise coming from Matt Williams all the time. So let me know what you think, what you thought of Rusty's answer, and am I wrong to make this video? I didn't ask the question. I just thought it might be interesting to you guys. Let me know. It'd just be interesting to see. I certainly don't think it's a bigger issue than it is. I just thought it was quite funny. And I think the Boks are quite tired of these sort of questions anyway. And I understand it. I understand it very well. Anyway, but let me know. And also, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Put the thumbs up if you can. It helps us with the algorithm. And of course, if you want to get notifications of new videos, there's that bell thing that if you click on that, you'll get notifications of all the new videos. But anyway, until next time, we'll chat soon. Cheers.
Mani, maybe start with you. Just talk us through coming off the bench there in Wellington. You guys had lost a bunch of guys in that first half. A lot of pressure on you guys, especially after the previous week. And just how did you enjoy that game?
No, it was good, man. No, I just came on from the bench. Came on to do a job and to fulfill my role within the plans and all of that. Yes, the pressure was on when I got on the field, but I took a lot of confidence out of the preparation we had throughout the week, and like we trained nowadays, it's always like game intensity. So it wasn't something new for me to go into the field. I just go on there and then obviously go do a job and to go do whatever I need to do in that given situation, and to add to the team and try to put the team in the best possible position to get the result.
Mani, just also the one hallmark of your season so far is your kicking's been exceptional. I know you've been under pressure in the past about it. Maybe just talk us through some of the changes, and is it the rhino ball as Rassie suggested, or is it more than that?
It's definitely the rhino ball. But now I obviously I put a lot of work in with my kicking since when I was struggling with it. I pride myself in obviously try to get it right, and I did everything in my powers to do everything in my powers to obviously get it right, and I'm just happy it comes together now. The hard work is paying off now. Yeah.
The team seemed to be fairly evenly matched in the Rugby Championship. But just looking at the Pumas forwards, is there something kind of unique that they do? I mean, for one thing, they seem to float the breakdown quite a lot, but I mean, what do you kind of see when you look at their forwards?
Yeah, definitely. I think the Pumas loose forwards are mobile. If you look at them, they're really mobile. I think that's why they get along on the park and get around the park and make a lot of turnovers. I think the hookers is also good turnover guys making jackals. I think in general they're a good pack, they're physical, they come hard, they can run a lot. I think that they're a real good combination of different oaks playing together, and I think that's what making them competitive.
You have been playing against Argentinian players since Jaguares 2016. What is your opinion about the evolution of the team? If you think that this Argentinian team is in the best moment of the last 10 years?
Yeah, definitely. I think starting in Super Rugby with Jaguares, when they started playing, I think they started not good, and then they started getting better, starting to play in finals and doing really well. And I think with the Argentinian side also, they've really grown a lot over the last few years. I think now this team is a bunch of young guys that's come through the whole system, that's been playing a long time together. So I think there's a good bunch of senior guys, but also good, energetic young guys coming through. And I think that combination makes them really dangerous.
Last year, the team struggled, Argentinian team struggled in the scrum battle in Santiago del Estero and in Nelspruit too. It's going to be a key point for your team this Saturday?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be a big battle for us in scrum time also. I think they will also pride themselves and make sure that they're ready for scrum time. But for us, it's just sticking to our system and doing what we need to do come game time. But it will definitely be a physical battle up front.
The impact you've been having for quite a few seasons now is really fantastic, and you seem to score tries. And are you comfortable now with that role of being a finisher?
Yeah, it's something a lot of people ask me. But for me, it's to serve the team, no matter if I start or I come off the bench. To make every opportunity count, that's important for me, because you never know when it's your last time putting on that green jersey. So every opportunity I get, I try to do my best and try to serve the team, and also try to enjoy it, because yes, we're not getting younger now, so we must use every opportunity and enjoy it also, because that's why we play the game, eh?
Mani, yourself and Sasha, you guys walk quite a long road together from provincial rugby up until to test rugby. And of course, it's always internal competition in that regard, but just how much has he helped you in your game and vice versa at the help team also in the same way?
No, a lot, man. Obviously, we feed nicely with each other, and the same with Andre as well. We all three of us, we push each other every day in training to be better, and that just bring the best out of all three of us. Yeah, I'm just happy to be in this position with the both of them and competing against them because that like I said, that definitely helped myself to elevate my game and to be better each and every day when we go out there in the training pitch. So with obviously working with Sasa, we came from working together at Storms as well. It's always nice to work with him, and obviously we learn from each other. We like I said, we feed off each other, and that's good. And it help both of us, both all of us three a lot. Yeah.
Manny, how are you managing the style that I think that the Springbok are combining this year of the physical battle, but playing with the hands too? It's in your DNA that way. But how are you managing the style and the strategy of the game, that what the games need?
Yeah, just obviously adapting on the game as well. Obviously, we have plans and all of that when we go into a certain game. But for me, it's always about obviously we talk about control and balance, and yeah, and obviously to spare these guys energy when we need them to punch and to go, especially when we're in the 22 and all of that, so they can come alive and they have energy to when they go to set piece and all of that. So that's my job to make sure I'm not overplaying my forwards and to make sure I reserve the energy and so that I can obviously get to be fresh when they get to set piece and obviously when we get into the opposition 22. Yeah.
Moni, just following up on that, do you feel like the Wellington performance, especially that second half, was like a really good template for what you've just spoken about, just the way you guys controlled that second half? I mean, it was like a stark contrast to Ellis Park, where there was such a tremendous start, and it's almost like you guys got a speed wobble because it was such a good start.
Now it's important, obviously, to keep the control and balance. Obviously, to like I said, obviously to spare the forwards' energy. But I'm just happy that everything came together. That last 40, okay, in that game in New Zealand, and happy that obviously everything we have done on that field came off, and yeah, it's just again, it's just a credit to the way we train, the way we prepare throughout the week. That set us up, obviously, to go out there on a Saturday and deliver under pressure. And yeah, like I said, I'm just happy that everything came together. That we work on that whole week, and everything we have done in that game came off. So yeah, I'm just stoked.
Thank you, guys. Vloggers off.
Afternoon, Wilco. Yeah, you're going to play another role at the bench on Saturday, my bad. But I mean, the Argentinian forwards are known for their scrummaging. So just coming on as a replacement, like what's your mindset going into a guy that's played like good 40, 50 minutes already of rugby when you come into the field?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, coming off the bench, I've got a certain role to play, and my first job is to scrum and to maul. And yeah, I'm obviously excited to get another opportunity to play. And yeah, all of us have got our role. And firstly, we want to get dominance in the set piece, and yeah, that'll be my main job, to come on and yeah, just firstly enjoy it and then play some good rugby.
Volker, just before you go down on a scrum, what is going through your mind? Are you thinking, I'm going to destroy this guy opposite me? Or what are you thinking?
No, it's probably some of that, but it's probably a bit more technical than that, making sure all of our systems is in place and being in a position to go. But yeah, scrum is an interesting thing. It's not just one guy who makes a difference. It's all eight, and yeah, everyone needs to be in sync and have the same mindset and the same plan. And yeah, working with Coach Don is a massive privilege. He's really good in what he does, and really good getting the boys to focus on a certain goal. And yeah, it's a bit more than just getting in there and thinking I'm gonna go forward. So yeah, but yeah, every week has got its challenges, and this week is gonna be a big one.
Walker, there's been, over the international season so far, there has been a tendency for refs not to want to reward the dominant scrum. I don't know if you've picked it up. I mean, it seems that way. Just your thoughts on that, and just how do you handle it when you know you've got the upper hand, but the ref just doesn't give you the penalty?
Oh, that's a difficult question. I'm just joking. Yeah, obviously the ref sees a whole different picture than what we feel inside there, and obviously he can only judge from what he sees from the outside. And hopefully the dominant side gets the reward, and I think that's the mentality of all the teams that we've played, and obviously Argentina will have the same mentality, that dominance gets rewarded, and yeah, hopefully just giving good pictures and hoping that your picture is the positive one would obviously be the chance for the best outcome. So yeah, hopefully the team who is dominant and is dominant legally gets the penalty or the advantage.
Look, over the last 18 months, I mean, you've been in incredible form, just as a tight head, URC and internationally. What's behind that? Do you feel like something's clicked in the last 18 months, or has it just been a steady progression that you now feel you're at your peak?
Yeah, obviously I came back to the Bulls from Harlequins, and I think I've been enjoying my rugby, and I think that's one of the most important things, is to really enjoy what you're doing. Not that I didn't enjoy it at Harlequins, but obviously being in a South African coaching system, playing in a South African team, the Bulls has got an amazing pack. You play with incredible players like Gerard Steenekamp and Grobbies and Yanni and all of the boys, and everyone is the same as you. Everyone's got the same mentality, the same focus. Everyone wants to dominate in the scrums, and yeah, I think it's been a good season and an enjoyable one. And when you do your job and you can enjoy it, I think it just motivates you a bit more. And obviously, it's a massive honour being in the Springbok squad and getting to test yourself every week with some of the best in the world, scrumming against some of the best in the world. You have to learn and have to get better. Otherwise, you're going to suffer a bit.
Wilco, just you obviously, I mean, sorry, you obviously we know about your scrumming prowess, etc. But do you feel maybe that other parts of your game, maybe getting around the field, is something that you must still work on a little bit? I asked Rassie the question about you and Thomas yesterday, and he said Thomas's mobility is probably what gives him the edge on the first part, and you did do the job in the second part.
Yeah.
Is that something that you feel you need to still up maybe a bit on the work front?
Definitely. I think if you ask any rugby player in the world, is there something you have to work on, and all of them will say yes, there's definitely. And yes, like I said, I've got a role in the team. Thomas got a role in the team. He's been playing really well, scrumming really well. His work rate is incredible, and yeah, a better work rate is something every prop, I can promise you, in the world, they'll say they strive for that, and it is definitely, there's lots still to work on, and yeah, my job is to scrum, but not just to scrum. I have to still be able to make my tackles, get to cleans, maul, and play a decent amount of time. So yeah, definitely, there's always something to work on.
We go last year in Argentina and in Nelspruit, your team was dominant in the scrum. It's a special point to punish Argentina this Saturday. And what's your opinion about the pack of the forwards of Argentina?
Yes, I wasn't involved in those two games, but the Springboks had a really good scrum, especially in those two games. But if you take the Rugby Championship now and their previous games, they started to win a few penalties against New Zealand and Argentina, New Zealand and Australia. So obviously they'll be up for it. I think they've focused on their scrum, and they've improved their scrum quite a bit. So it'll be a tough battle. Obviously, it's Test rugby. No one will just give up in a certain department and focus on something else. So I think they've beaten both the other teams in this competition. So they'll be really up for it. And obviously, if they struggled in the previous two games against the Boks, they'll be up for it 100%. So it'll be a very tough battle, I'm sure.
Guys, can we put bloggers off, please? Because we've got a few.
Guys, yourself as a hooker and the rest of your forward pack must be excited for the challenge.
Yes, of course. Like, well, good afternoon to everyone. We are going to play against the best team in the world and probably the best pack as well. So being able to play against against the Springboks as a 4-pack is a big challenge, and is a big opportunity as well. So we are really excited about that.
You obviously you're not thinking too far ahead because there's still 2 games to go. What would it mean for you guys and possibly Argentina if you had to go all the way and win the rugby championship?
Yeah, I think you are thinking too way ahead, and I'm not in that at the moment. As you said, first of all, we are here in the present, and then we have one more training session where we need to keep sharpening the knife to be ready to use it on game day. So that's my only focus at the moment. All the math and all those things, I leave it to you.
Felipe, congratulations first of all on everything you've achieved this year. But you know, given that the big victories that you've had, does the team come with a sense of, you know, in the backyard of the world champions, that we are quite confident that this can be done?
Look, thanks for the compliment. Look, I think it's for us it's a big challenge, you know, coming and facing the double world champions in their home ground. It's never going to be easy, and I think it's more than that. It's we respect a lot South Africa because we know they are the number 1 team in the world at the moment. Now, having said that, obviously we are here to compete. We prepare according to the challenge, and yeah, we would like to think we are going to be competitive on the day and give a good run to South Africa. But we know that it's a massive challenge, and that's what we like to face. You know, it's always nice or it's what you want as a high performance team to face the best ones. You know, and when you have that opportunity, you need to embrace it.
What is your thinking at fly half? Because I think maybe we expected, I think the Springboks probably expected Albanos to play. So what was your thinking in terms of that selection?
Look, Albanos is coming from a hand surgery, so I think sometimes when you're back from injury or from surgery, and even if it wasn't a major surgery, you know, he's been developing his way back into the team. There's also a bit of cohesion going there in terms of with Carreras playing at 10, and Albornoz is there on the 23. So if he needs to come in, he'll play his part when he comes in, you know. But look, it's part of those combinations that you just have to have the timing to see when it's good or what's expectation. But we are happy with how he returned, how he got into the team, how he got back into the team in the training sessions. But yeah, it's just a choice, you know.
Yes. Julian, you guys have achieved a lot, as Stephen said here. You've beaten Australia, New Zealand and the British and Irish Lions this year. Would beating the Springboks be almost the cherry on top to cap that almost perfect year?
Yeah, I don't think that if you aim for perfection, you would say we need to beat every single test, you know. But it's been a good year so far, but that's in the past, and we did a lot of mistakes as well in some test match, and there are some games that we weren't as good as we wanted to, and we learned from that. And even the games that we won, we weren't as good maybe as we should. So when you lose, you are not that bad, and when you win, you are not that good as well, you know. So in the moment is we're trying to get better week in, week out, and we believe a lot in this team, and we believe in each other. So I think that's the main thing in the team, the cohesion we have on and off the pitch, and how we train, how we compete against each other first, and then how we compete against the opposition. But yeah, it's a massive challenge for us, and it's a super exciting opportunity to play this Springboks team in the backyard, as we were saying. So we're looking forward to this test match.
Felipe, you guys obviously also had a very good victory in Buenos Aires over the All Blacks. Just your thoughts on the Springboks victory then in Wellington. I surprised probably all of us and probably New Zealand with how the scoreline was. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I think. Look, it's with rugby nowadays, those scorelines can happen from a blink of an eye. It can go into 20 points difference, and I know it's a record win for South Africa and so on. I think there was a 50-minute game where it was very even, and that's the power of South Africa. That's how it shows how good they are, that even against a very good team of the All Blacks, and in their home ground, they can put a 20 plus or 30 points difference, and yeah, it's incredible what they've achieved. But it's one of those games, that sometimes the bounces go on your side, but they were brilliant in how they managed the certain part of the games, especially those last 20, 30 minutes. And so yeah, good on them. It was impressive.
We go with one more. Coach, your team has shown a lot of belief, character, in the last couple of years. Are you content or happy with how your team is progressing?
Yeah, look, that's our main target. Trying to get better week in, week out, and I would say every training session trying to be better than what we were the previous day. But yeah, we are happy. We still know that we've a lot more to improve, and we still need to work on lots of things. But the effort and the commitment of the whole squad, it's unbelievable. We've been now 4 weeks on the road, and there's some guys that they haven't played even 1 minute, and they are still, competing every training session and going, and that environment and how they behave, it's really admirable, and for us that's what we are looking. Then the results. The rugby ball is a bit funny, and it can bounce one side, one other, and you can win or lose a game, but it's not about only the result, it's how you behave every day, and we are, in that sense, I think we are getting better. We still have a lot more to improve, and hopefully we can go on the right track and keep improving.
Thank you very much for coming. Gracias por coming.
Está prendido ¿No lo pueden agarrar?
Sí, sí, ahora lo agarro. We go first in Spanish and then we go in English. Suka, adelante.
Felipe, Julián, buenas tardes para ambos. Bueno, Felipe, arranco con vos, como siempre, con el equipo, y voy precisamente a las modificaciones que se dan en los forwards. ¿Qué te aporta la Molina y Paulos en la segunda línea? Y la diagramación de la tercera, ahora con Pablo adentro, ¿por qué estratégicamente elegiste ponerlo a él de arranque?
Bueno, buenas tardes a todos. Sí, como decimos siempre nosotros, ese es un tema más estratégico. Vamos 6-2 en el banco, y me parece que en ese sentido, bueno, creemos que es la mejor combinación.
En cuanto a lo que es la elección, ¿por qué Paulos de arranque, Rubiolo al banco?
Porque creemos que es la mejor combinación, y creemos que en ese sentido también venimos trabajando varias semanas, y bueno, creemos que Lucas ha entrenado muy bien, es una posibilidad, y que vamos a necesitar obviamente de los 23 para poder estar en partido, y si podemos llegar a estar en partido para el final del partido, poder terminar también de forma fuerte.
¿Qué partido imaginás como para poner 6-2 en el banco? ¿O qué te llevó a esa decisión?
No, son decisiones estratégicas que debatimos, que vemos. Obviamente hay combinaciones también desde Juan González, que puede cubrir también de wing, y bueno, siempre trabajamos esas opciones, pero nada, obviamente sabemos del poderío físico, especialmente en los forwards de Sudáfrica, y bueno, eso es un poco también no es la primera vez que hemos hecho 6-2 contra Sudáfrica y creemos que es un tema estratégico que puede salir bien, puede salir o no, puede funcionar o no, pero bueno, es lo que nosotros optamos para este partido.
¿Cómo está Tommy Albornoz? ¿Cómo estuvo entrenando? ¿Cómo fue esa decisión de mantenerlo a Santi de arranque y que él esté en el banco de suplentes?
Tommy bien, está bien, obviamente como todo viene de una cirugía, si bien fue menor, la cirugía no le requirió mucho reposo, pero es la mano algo de movimiento fino y demás, con lo cual para volver y entrenar tenía cierta aprensión y demás, pero se lo vio cada vez, cada entrenamiento mejor y bueno, sí, decidimos que esté dentro de los 23. Son combinaciones que nosotros barajamos o tenemos y creo que Santi tuvo un muy buen partido en Australia, está en un buen momento, bueno, 2 buenos partidos en Australia y me parece que está en un buen momento entiende lo que queremos hacer, el juego y bueno, decidimos por eso.
Juli, ¿cómo están ustedes? La parte del jugador, ¿cómo llegan a este partido? Últimas 2 fechas del Rugby Championship, el Rugby Championship más parejo de la historia, con los 4 equipos con chances.
Sí, bueno, buenas tardes a todos. Nada, la verdad que feliz de estar acá. Creo que vamos a jugar en un estadio emblemático, mítico como ese el que está acá en Durban de los Sharks. La verdad que una oportunidad espectacular y con muchas ganas de jugar. Creo que venimos teniendo una muy buena semana, si bien queda un día más. El equipo está bien, el grupo está muy bien. La verdad que el grupo es tan lindo, tan sano que uno no quiere que se termine, ¿viste? Pero bueno, quedan 2 partidos. El partido que viene ahora es el más importante de todos y con muchas ganas de entrar a jugar y tratar de poner la camiseta lo más alto que podamos.
¿Qué esperás de ellos, Juli? En los 2 partidos tuvieron, el año pasado, tuvieron ellos muy buen arranque. En Santiago del Estero ustedes tuvieron esa capacidad de reacción. En el split se mantuvo la ventaja por parte de Sudáfrica. ¿Pero qué esperás de los Springboks?
Sí, bueno, creo que un partido muy físico, sin una duda. El contacto va a ser la clave del partido, así como las formaciones fijas. Pero nada, en líneas generales contra Sudáfrica uno espera eso. Son los bicampeones del mundo, están número 1 hoy en el ranking, viene de ganar por amplia diferencia contra Nueva Zelanda y cuando ellos se hacen fuertes, cuando son fuertes en el contacto, y el rugby es un deporte de contacto, va a pasar por ahí la formación eficaz sin ninguna duda.
¿Qué semblante estuviste sintiendo con el tema del scrum, que sabemos que ellos van a tratar de ir a hacerse muy fuertes ahí?
Sí, creo que es una formación que venimos progresando. Sabemos que Sudáfrica, bueno, debe ser el mejor scrum del mundo también y lo analizamos la semana, vimos lo que fueron los partidos con Nueva Zelanda, con Australia y demás, pero bueno, nosotros seguimos tratando de mejorar semana a semana, partido a partido, es lo que venimos haciendo este rugby Championship y bueno, ahora nos medimos contra los mejores y confiar confiar en lo que venimos haciendo, sabiendo que va a ser un partido en general y obviamente la formación fija que en algún momento puede llegar a ponerse más difícil, pero es confiar en lo que estamos haciendo, cómo venimos entrenando, lo estamos entrenando mucho. Así que también con ganas de medirnos contra los mejores.
Por ahí me olvido de alguno, pero creo que eran vos, Pablo y Guido, los que estuvieron hace 10 años acá en este estadio cuando se consiguió esa victoria. ¿Qué representa para ustedes volver a ese estadio? Que ya hayan pasado 10 años de esa victoria, me imagino la ganas de renovar ese ganar.
Sí, 10 años es un montón. De hecho, estamos mucho juntos con Pablo y Guido, ¿no? para todos lados. Y la verdad que fue una semana muy especial, también estaban los Pumas del 65, creo que es un recuerdo muy lindo, una camiseta también espectacular en su momento, muy especial. Pero bueno, viste, los años van pasando y hoy es un grupo nuevo, la camiseta son los mismos colores y nosotros hoy estamos acá y tenemos la posibilidad de ponernos la camiseta que más nos gusta. Y nada, obviamente que queremos estar preparados para si aparece la oportunidad de tomarla, obviamente que queremos ganar, pero bueno, todavía falta un día más para seguir afilando y afinando nuestras armas, por así decirlo, y cuando llegue el momento expresarnos en esa ventana de 80 minutos, pero con muchas ganas. Obviamente ese recuerdo está, lo hablamos, pero lo importante es el presente y lo que va a pasar en estos días.
Felipe, de lo que se pueda saber claramente, ¿tuvieron alguna devolución de lo que fueron los fallos arbitrales frente a Australia? ¿Qué expectativa tenés con respecto a lo que se viene, a todo lo que se generó alrededor?
Sí, mira, por suerte hay buena comunicación en ese sentido y los canales de comunicación que tenemos con el tema de los referees y los árbitros es bueno y es claro. Sí, tratamos siempre de tener devoluciones para ver qué se puede mejorar, cómo podemos mejorar, pero nosotros, más allá de lo que hagan los referees, que confiamos mucho en su mejora continua y que ellos realmente trabajan para mejorar, nosotros nos focalizamos más en lo que nosotros podemos mejorar, que creo que más allá de algún fallo arbitral que uno pueda tener alguna frustración o demás, creo que muchos errores fueron nuestros y nosotros podemos mejorar en eso, y ahí es donde pusimos nuestro foco.
Última en español.
La última, Erasmus fue muy elogioso con el presente del equipo, con tu trabajo como entrenador. ¿Qué opinás de él como entrenador en cuanto a lo que está haciendo con estos Springboks camino a Australia 2027? Y al mismo tiempo, ¿qué esperás de los Springboks? Que si uno se guía por nombres, ves a Gómez Zulu, a Williams, a Moody, pensás que van a jugar un poco más, pero el segundo tiempo frente a los All Blacks de la semana pasada fueron a ese Sudáfrica de patear, cargar, que por ahí es más clásico, y lo hicieron de muy buena manera, jugadores que por ahí unas características tienen otra sensación.
Bueno, la verdad no escuché lo de Rassi, pero Rassi para mí es un excelente entrenador. Creo que no estoy diciendo nada nuevo, ¿no? Alguien que sale 2 veces campeón del mundo me parece que no es de casualidad. Creo que lo que tiene es que sabe y conoce muy bien el ADN del rugby sudafricano y saca lo mejor de eso. Aparte, me parece que es una persona muy valiente y con mucha convicción en lo que quiere hacer y cómo lo transmite, porque indudablemente siempre viene con algún truco o algo y los jugadores lo hacen y están convencidos, así que desde ese lado la verdad que es admirable lo que viene haciendo con Sudáfrica, más allá de la calidad de los jugadores y de la cantidad de jugadores que tiene Sudáfrica, hay que estar ahí en el número 1 y ya por no sé cuántos años dentro de los 2-3 mejores equipos del mundo todo el tiempo, así que desde ese lado es admirable. ¿Y qué esperamos de Sudáfrica? Para mí Sudáfrica es cuando mejor juega es cuando juega su juego, ¿no? Y más allá de la capacidad que tiene con los jugadores y la calidad de jugadores, yo creo que en principio va a empezar siendo directo, como saben que tienen, como vos lo dijiste, con lo último que vimos de Nueva Zelanda y demás, pero que tienen una capacidad para jugar tanto desplegado o una capacidad individual para cambiar el rumbo del partido, sin lugar a dudas, y sabemos del desafío que tenemos por delante, ¿no? Pero siempre es lindo desafiarse contra los mejores, así que acá estamos y con ganas de eso.
Go in English, please.
Julian,
Guys, just a late change to the Springbok team. They've lost Oxenchair. Oxenchair is out of the test with the niggle. I just heard it now, just come through from SA Rugby. That means Bowen Fenter will come into the starting lineup. Bowen Fenter will be in the starting lineup. Of course, he was on the bench for this game. And that means Oxenchair is out with the niggle. And Marco van Staden comes onto the bench there. So what will happen now, the Boks have decided that Jan-Hendrik Wessels will come on who was on the bench as reserve hooker, will cover now the loosehead prop position, and Marco van Staden will cover the hooker position. Now Marco van Staden was there in the World Cup to cover hooker as well. He did cover it in the World Cup for the Boks as well in their World Cup victory. It was a rather unorthodox thing to do back then, but he has done it before, and they have done this before. So a bit of a disruption, because Oxenchair is probably over the last 12 months
certainly been probably the form loose head in World Rugby. So and the Boks squad is certainly looking to get a leg up against it. But a good test for Bowen Venter. He's obviously taken his chances. He was called in, in Gerard Steenekamp, and Tutuku Mchunu was ruled out of the international season. So a bit of a blow there for the Boks then. But he came in. They brought him in from Edinburgh. A bit of a surprise there, but obviously highly rated by Daan Himan, and he's done pretty well since he's been there. So Bowen Venter will start the test match. Oxenchair is out. Marco van Staden on the bench as cover for hooker. Jan-Hendrik Wessels covers prop. That's the update. Have more a bit later, but that's the quick update for you. For those of you who want to just have a quick recap of the squad, there it is. Damien Willems at fullback, Cheslin Colby, Ethan Hooker, the two wingers as they were in Wellington. Kanan Moody, Damon Delenda, Damon coming in there this week. Sasha Vanberg Ngomazulu starting at 10 again with Kobus Reinach. Jasper Visser, Peter Stef, Tutoy, Sia Kulisi, the three loose forwards, very balanced loose trio. That Ruan Okia, who's done exceptionally well in the Bok jersey. Evan Etzebeth back, giving some grunt to that pack. Thomas Dutoy, Malcolm Marks, and now Bowen Venter on the loose head side. 4 caps, 1 try, 5 points. Replacements Marco van Staan, unfamiliar in the 16 jersey. He's already had 30 caps. He's already played hooker before. Jan-Hendrik Wessels, who covers the loose head then. Walker Lowe. Erke Snyman Kwagga Smith, the bomb squad specialist. Morne van den Berg getting his 4th cap as well. Mani Lebok, who came on as well in Wellington after a spate of injuries and did exceptionally well. And then Andre Esthuizen, the hybrid player who can make it a 6-2 bench if he needs to. So that's the recap there. Something that Rossi's going to experiment with. He's going to try his hand here in Durban. We'll be seeing Sia a bit later. We'll talk to him a bit about that as well. But Bowen Venter, obviously, and I'm hoping that Ox's niggle isn't too bad, because there's obviously the rest of the rugby season ahead of him. But certainly they don't want to take the chance. And to bring Marco back in is a wonderful way of doing it. I suppose they feel it worked for them in the World Cup, and that'll work again. Anyway, that's it for now. You can hear probably the sea waves crashing. It's a beautiful day in Durban. Hopefully this holds for the game tomorrow. But yeah, because it's been raining most of the week and windy and overcast. So hopefully that holds for the weekend. But if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the changes, and also a thumbs up helps with the algorithm. And of course, if you want to get notifications, videos, click the bell thing, and that will give you notifications. Yeah, and that's it, and I'll chat to you again a bit later.
Wat sê meneer Nel?
Ek is stil en jy man.
Stil nie man. Daar's nie skaars, dis skaars.
Leon is het geworden? Denk aan het eerst voor deze keer. Dat is goed wel. Ja.
Bobby. All right, are we ready?
Langzaam heel.
Steady! Here we go. Am I all right here? All right there? I should go full safety, listen. That's it! Steady! Eyes up! Keep it there! Kijk, niet van mij niet, die camera. Smile! As it tells, they smell. Good, Gaza. I say, that's it. Same face. I love it. Up with the arms. Steady. Two more. Two more. Merci beaucoup. Fast depart at 10:30. It's got 22 minutes. Thank you, guys.
As I say, Ian, good man, good. So,
This is my team for my sons.
Ja, maar tot een keer. Ja.
Lekker het lachen eerst.
Ja.
Wanneer is het lachen?
Eerst.
In de restaurant. Ja.
Alles recht.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. This one just be careful. Just take it as they come
Oh, boeman. Nakuvonela izolo. Ngavuma other number. Oh, you 277. Is it 8 o'clock? In who put up? In the put up? Yeah.
They want us.
En die hoek lang zit in ons mols.
Ja,
ja.
Dit wordt genoemd, ja, dit wordt genoemd pro co-payment. Dat is niet mijn. Toen nou ik denk dat ze wat kan je aan? Nee, is een fancy dress. Je weet dat je niet de invite gekregen.
Hey,
tell if you want to.
Do you know what? You're going to see Felix coming running over to you. Felix, and how many minutes? How many minutes?
You just tell them, do they know who you are? And do they know you're the official
They're going to say, do you know that you can be fired tomorrow? And we can get a better media manager.
And then you tell them good luck with that?
So, I
This is the place for me.
9 minutes from. Okay, cool guys. Sia and Stick, hands up for questions, and then let's take as many as we can, and then we'll come back for second questions. Over there.
Just for you from your side, Sia, how much to put up a show? I mean, since it's the last game on SHO, I mean, it's on SHO as well.
Show? No. It's not about the show tomorrow. It's about playing test match rugby and trying to win a game. It's like playing a semi-final tomorrow because ourselves and Argentina have the opportunity to win the rugby championship, and we're not. We just want to play winning rugby. And no matter what it takes for us to win, that's what we're going to do tomorrow. But we are grateful for all the support we've received throughout the year from the people of South Africa. It hasn't been an easy year. It's been tough. We've had to dig ourselves out of tough weeks, you know, of losing some big scores, but we've just shown how resilient we are as a team, and those are the positives that we take. But tomorrow we're going to go out there and play test match rugby and respect Argentina because they're an amazing team, and I don't think they get enough credit because they're really a strong team and they've shown what they could do from last year and this year as well. They're just getting better and better.
Again?
Hi guys, if I can ask you both, after a great performance like in Wellington, there's sometimes the danger of a team just kind of expecting that things will turn out the same way again. So, Sia, for you, from a player's point of view, how have you been guarding against that? And Zandile, as a coach, what have you guys been doing just to make sure that the guys start afresh, I guess, on Saturday and not think, you know, you're just carrying on till the second half?
I think the nice thing, if you call it a danger, this one came. The nice thing, the danger is on both teams. Argentina came from a win against Australia. We came from a win against New Zealand. But I think for us as a team, the key thing is just to get to keep improving as a team. You know, we've been inconsistent for the season since we started earlier in July. So the biggest focus for us was to make sure that we keep improving in all our departments of the game, and that's one thing that we've been talking about in a week, how we want to play the game and how we want to execute the plan. And like Sia said, also touch on it against about Argentina. They're also in a good space as a team. I think it's probably one of the best combined team when it comes to continuity in their squad. Those players that they've selected in that squad, it's players that have been playing past probably 4 seasons together, you know, and you can see now they're starting to gel well as a team. So once again, I think the key focus for us, Ken, there was to make sure that we keep improving from our performance. Yes, we had a good game against New Zealand, but we know that that's all in the past now. And at the moment, I think all 4 teams, they've got a chance to still win the championship. So it's going to be a tough game. Argentina, they've got quality players in the team. And so, yeah, we have to be at our best and make sure that we pitch up tomorrow also.
For us, it's the players. Please let the people. Please. For us as players, it's like the team has been chopping and changing, and everybody that gets an opportunity, you know, we want to take it with both hands. But also, I don't think there's the place that we're in now. Nobody will think this game will come. Will just come because we know what's at stake. And we know Argentina is capable of winning the Rugby Championship. So we know the kind of passion and emotion they're going to bring to the game, and obviously technicality as well. But for us as well, it's like it's an opportunity to do something we've never done as a group, to win the Rugby Championship back to back. And we know, yeah, Argentina is not just going to give it to us just because we played well last week. Like Coach said, they also played well last week. And there's so many things we can still improve on from last week. And for us as players is to make sure that you do the best you can, play as well as you can to make sure you put yourself in a good position to get an opportunity to play a game, but also to put the team in the best position to win the Rugby Championship.
Sia, you obviously play the Wallabies and the All Blacks now, and each loose player brings different strengths
Yeah.
you have to look at. What makes Argentina so difficult with Marcus Kramer and Pablo Matera, those type of guys? What are their strengths? What do you have to watch out for tomorrow?
First of all, they're very experienced because I remember I started at a similar time with Pablo and Kramer also came. We started similar time, and they've the experience they have, same as we do. Myself and Peter, and Jasper came a bit later, but Pablo is good on the ball, and he's good on the breakdown. He's good with ball in hand, and he can speak to the player. He's a good leader amongst the team, so he has that. And then Kramer is very hard. He's a hard man. He's one of our typical 7, like Peter Steph, but they're a little bit different to each other. It's like a Willem Alberts, I would say. He's that kind of player that they look to, to stop momentum and get momentum. And the way that they've played now, seeing that he gets around the field a bit more, is around the scraps. It's like the way we always play. So, and I think for us, myself, Peter, and Jasper, we complement each other very well. Jasper is good on the ball as well on the breakdown. Peter can get in, and for me, when the opportunity is there as well. But I'm more on the stuff that nobody sees. Like, I know how good Jasper can carry, and I know how Peter can carry. I can also carry, but I know they may be better than me, especially when there's a flat line of defense, but in broken play I can carry with the backs. And I'm very good at the breakdown as well in securing our own ball. So that's the kind of relationship we know. We speak in the game. If we're in the same positions together, like I'm like, okay, cool, you take this one, I'll look after the breakdown. So that combination, we've been able to do that a lot. Me playing at 8 is a bit different. Like, I can't get the same momentum that Jasper gets. I'm not afraid to say that. I just can't carry the ball the way that Yassi can. Jasper can stand still and pick up the ball and run over people. I need 15 meters to pick up my pace and get to it. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a proper battle between, and they have Gonzalez on the bench as well, who brings something different. But Kwacha can also, it's kind of the same. They have the same energy, and Gonzalez very quick and is good in the lineouts too. So is Kwacha. So it's gonna be a great matchup this weekend.
You also didn't grow up with the blue down.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have that meat in me. Jasper is all the meat. Yeah.
Sia, you guys played at the same venue last year, lost by 1 point. But just aside from the scoreline, it was obviously an intense game, especially in that last 18 minutes. Do you think that adds to the pressure of tomorrow's game, and also seeing the fact that it sort of plays as a semi-final, and also it's kind of a home game for you as well?
It is a home game.
It's a super home game.
No, it's a home game for all of us. It's not. We can't change what happened last year. What happened in the islands. This is a different game, and the pressure is not just on us. It's on Argentina too. They also have to perform. If they want to win the Rugby Championship, we're both in the same playing ground, basically. It's all about who's going to pitch up on the game. But it is, for us, our last home game at home, the last time people of South Africa will see us, last time our families will come. So that does add a bit of that, but that's not going to play for you on Saturday, unfortunately. We still have to say thank you and everything by the way we perform, by the way we work on the field, and that's all that we can do. But Argentina's going to be bringing the same, and they're going to feel that the pressure's on us because we're at home. We have to entertain, but we know what we need to do tomorrow.
Sia, we know how tight the Rugby Championship log is, but how important is it to stick to the basics of Test match rugby and not get involved in chasing tries and bonus points?
Yeah, well, that's our mindset. We're going to go and play Test match. We're going to take points when they're an offer, but if we feel we can go for something, we'll go for it. But the first and foremost is to win the game. We're going to respect Argentina like any other game, and we're going to play it like a semi-final as it is this weekend. So, yeah, that's our focus, to be respectful to them by the way we play. Yes, we've done that, but when there's opportunities there, we're not going to shy away from that. Yeah.
Coach, are you able to tell us exactly the nature of Max's niggle, what it was, and if he's going to be okay for next week? And then also just speak about, is it a disruption when something happens like that before a game, having to change, and then the nature of the change is also quite unique with the guy that you've got coming on as a replacement?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to disrupt the team because of, once again, if you look at who's replacing in Duban, he's been with us throughout the whole season. When he got an opportunity also, grab it with both hands. He's been good every time he gets a chance. Sometimes he gets it off the bench, and then sometimes he started also at one. So he understands how we operate as a team. So I think one, he's been training with us. Also, during the week we wanted to just give Ox best possible chance for him to recover. The needle that Ox has got, I think he picked it up against New Zealand. So we just wanted to give him some fair time to recover from it. But once again, not 100%. So we don't want to push things. That's why we thought, what, let's just pull him out, and hopefully next week he will be fully recovered. But he's not far from being 100% fit.
Specifically on the Marco Hooker role, the disruption there, and given that lineouts at some point in the season, we're wobbly in stages.
Yeah.
I think that was more what I was asking.
Oh, what about the disruption? Oh, okay. No. The thing is, remember, even from 2023 World Cup, Marco was always a backup hooker in our system. Trains now and then with Dan, and Dion lineouts and all that stuff. So he's always been there. It's always part of the plan. So regarding to Jan-Hendrik Wessels as a cover, to 1 and 2, it's something that weekly we train like that. So that is part of the plan. We always that whenever there's an opportunity, or maybe when we've got injuries, we know Jan-Hendrik is good enough to help us in that position also. And regarding to Buan Fenta, like I said again, he's our season campaign. He's been with us. We got him, gave him chances, grabbed them with both hands. And he's been good. That's one player that I'm excited also that he's getting another opportunity. Regarding to Marco, he's a tough guy. Like I said to you earlier on, I know it sounded like a joke when I talk about Afrikaans guys and Biltong. Marco is tough. Marco is tough. When he's on the scrums, he does add value. Around the park, we know he's massive around the park. So I think for us, I'm more excited on what Marco is going to bring when he gets onto the field. I know sometimes people, they focus on only probably he's going to get about 2-3 line-out throws, but we forget about the contribution that he does around the park. I think that's where I feel like, he adds more value in our side. Otherwise, yeah, we've always had planned that Marco will be a backup hooker if we get an opportunity.
Sia, you have been playing against Argentina many years ago. Where do you see the evolution of the Argentinian players? This is the second year in a row that Argentina arrives South Africa with real chances of competing for the championship. Where do you see the evolution, and why do you think the team is good?
I think the coach has been good, Coach Felipe, and everything that he's done with his coaching staff. The set piece is very good now, and the introduction of 7 guys who come from the 7 environment, we had the same. Ches and Kwacha and Werner Kok, they didn't play here, but there's a lot of guys who move into that. But you can see there's more structure to the Argentinian game, but also they still got the Argentinian flair where they can play in broken play. So when you mix all of those things together, they're a very dangerous team, and you can see how professional they are. They normally go home to Argentina. They came here. That's how much it means to them, because I know a lot of the players play overseas and they enjoy going home, and now they decided to come straight to South Africa, so they really want this. So the professionalism also helps a lot. So I think that has been the biggest change you can see in the way they play on the field and how professional they are off the field too. But yeah, the passion has always been there, and the support from the people back at home. You can see how much the people in Argentina believe even more in what they're capable of doing, and it's driving the team as well.
Okay, cool guys. Let's log us off, and then let's go.